Incoming transmission.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day here of the GSL. I'm Tasteless. Joined with me is State. How you doing, buddy?
Feeling good, man. We were just here yesterday kicking off GSL Season 2, and now we're back already with the second group in the round of 12. And it's a very interesting group that we've got lined up. I think the most exciting part about it is that GuMiho finally back here in Code S.
Yeah, we've got GuMiho back. Code S is smaller than it's been in the past, so it's pretty competitive right now. It's exciting to see GuMiho here today. I do think it's going to be a tough group for him to get out of, though.
Yeah, the GSL, it feels like it just keeps getting more and more stacked. You know, even though we're going from round of 16 to round of 12 in the past couple of years, it's not like a lot of the top players are going away. It's a very fierce competition to qualify for the GSL, especially now that it's open up to anyone in the world to play in the qualifiers. I mean, Clem qualified into the round of 8 already through the online qualifiers for the GSL. And so now the players that we have out here in Korea, they have the entire world to compete with. It's a very exciting time.
Guys, here's our schedule. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, and then the semifinals and the finals, it'll be on 6-7, 6-7, 6-7. Oh, I just realized it was a 6-7 opportunity, State. Guys, you want to buy tickets. You don't want to miss it. It was so good, by the way, to see all of you in the Freak Up studio here at Samsung. Just a couple days ago, actually. It was so recent. So if you can get tickets, definitely come down. We would love to see you here. It's really special to get everybody together and kind of share these moments here of StarCraft 2. By the way, we are asking for your support. Consider signing up, whether it's a Code A Basic or Code S Plus. Oh, maybe a little bit cooler. We would love to get you on board. Now, we also have a Patreon as well. I think especially for a Western audience, you might be more familiar with that. But anyways, if you want to support the GSL, this is the way to do it.
Not much of StarCraft 2 these days is largely crowdfunded. As we look at the crowdfunding goals and pledges here for 2026 in GSL, already we've hit the $6,000 a month tier, which activates GLCK, the online event happening twice a month. And we reach $10,000 per month combined on SOOP and Patreon, so not just the Patreon count that you see public. That's going to be good for a Season 3 in GSL later this year.
Yeah, so join us, guys. Join the GSL here. We would love to earn your support. And, you know, I don't know. It's exciting that we now that we have this online, by the way, we're having players like Clem, you know, competing. That's going to be next week, but again, super pumped about that. We've gotten a little bit closer to the 10K goal. Yeah. So, you know, we're continuing to build up. You can see our GSL power meter is slowly growing.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be confused. It's not our life bar. We didn't take damage, and we want that thing to grow.
It's going up pretty quick. I mean, my memory's kind of foggy for the GSL Finals weekend, which was only a couple of days ago. But I think we're around like 6,000 and some change, maybe a low 6K.
Yeah.
So
I think just a little bit over 6.
Yeah, it's been a pretty sizable gain since then, as we're getting closer and closer to solidifying a position for a GSL Season 3. But before we get a Season 3 tasteless, we need to wrap up Season 2, because we're only here in the round of 12. There's a lot of StarCraft left to be played. And today, it's going to be Classic, Solar, Zoun, and GuMiho deciding who will join the top 8 dogs here in the GSL next week.
You can see already where Hero has now managed, excuse me, not Hero, I'm sorry, who actually qualified from that group. So that was what? Hure and Shin, sorry, moving on from that group. So 2 spots remaining here. And by the way, next week, I mean, the groups are pretty insane.
Yeah, they're already really stacked. Hero, Cure, and Clem, I mean, that's about as top 8 as it gets, but also Maru, Shin, and Rogue? I mean, come on, these are some absolutely ridiculous groups, and they're going to be complemented with one of the 4 players coming in today. I mean, imagine any of these guys, Classic, Solar, Zoun, or GuMiho reaching that top 8. It's just going to get even more stacked. And I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be a very exciting day of GSL. Classic, he has been a little bit cool coming into 2026. He's not quite in the form that he was in 2025, especially in the previous patch, the previous iteration of StarCraft 2, but maybe this will be his chance to rebound. Of course, GuMiho now finally making it back into Code S after missing the last season, and Solar and Zoun, they're always a dangerous threat.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty sick day here. A little bit of each race as well here. Taking a look at Classic, who had a pretty incredible run, actually, last year. You know, there was a period like a decade ago where Classic was on top of the world, and, you know, it's crazy. You can fall off and then go all the way back up. We got a haircut recently and feel good and fresh. We'd like to keep it that way. I agree. The haircut does look good.
Looking good, Classic.
Yes, I approve of this haircut. The Classic, I think he's probably one of the stronger players in this group. I think we would expect him to advance here, although it won't be easy.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I would love to see Classic continue to have a resurgence here in 2026 because 2025 was already spectacular. Had a round of 4 in GSL, a GSL championship, a top placement at EWC, in addition to other events around the world. And now in 2026, you know, it says a lot that getting a top 8 in a GSL, it feels a little underwhelming for Classic. I feel like the standards for Classic have risen so much.
Yeah. Solar, by the way. Oh, hold on. Last dinner I had spicy chicken stew with cow intestines.
Spicy chicken stew. I'm trying to think of, if I heard the Korean name for this food, I'm pretty sure I would know what it is, but...
Well, gopchang
it's got to be gopchang.
It's gopchang. I can't do gopchang.
Spicy chicken stew.
I actually, when I first came here, I was like, I could eat anything. I'm fine.
I love gopchang. I just don't eat it anymore because it's pure fat. There's like no nutritional value.
No, that's not true. There's nutritional value. Organ meat's good for you.
Organ meat's good, but I'm pretty sure like marbled cow intestines are not. when people say organ meat's good for you, they mean like eating heart is good for you, eating liver is good for you. I don't think they talk about the fattiest part.
I thought it was supposed
cow.
to be rich in nutrients.
I'm sure there are some micronutrients in cow intestines, the same way there's some micronutrients in lettuce, but I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think if you had a regular diet of gopchang, you would be looking very healthy.
I don't know what it is. I tried and tested. Like the first year I came out here, I was like, I just can't do it. I can eat the live octopus.
Oh, I can't do that. That's interesting.
I can do. You haven't. Well, you tried it.
I've tried it. No.
You can't do it. No. So okay, that's why we are. That's why we work together. Is that we can each eat the exotic Korean foods here. Yeah. Anyways, guys, we're about to start this match. Classic versus Solar. On the map, 10,000 feet. This is a best of 3 to start off day 2 here. Back at the GSL.
All right, first map is loaded in. Classic spawning in the top left as the blue Protoss. Solar the red Zerg in the bottom right. And honestly, coming into today, I look at both of these as the top 2 players to likely advance from Group B. And join the rest of the gamers that we have in the round of 8. I mean, Classic 2025, I think it's hard to make the case for any other Protoss as being the best Protoss in the world, especially in the previous patch of StarCraft 2, but it's been a bit tough for him adjusting, whether it be the new maps, the new Storm, the new metas. The Zerg and Terran players have gotten a lot more aggressive, a lot better at breaking into Protoss earlier on in the stages, because Classic, I think back to his 2025, and what he did better than basically anybody else was come online in the late game. You know, he would get these extremely refined armies, especially in PvZ. He would build up to a mothership, to Tempest, to Storm while expanding extremely quickly, and it would seem like he's almost impervious to early attacks while he was doing it. And nobody could quite execute builds like that the way that Classic could. But it feels like the meta has kind of shifted away from that sort of late game style, especially in PvT. Terran players have gotten better, and they've kind of figured out that, you know, Terran Supreme late game, if you're able to play for an exhaust style, as we've seen multiple times in the GSL already this year, the Terran late game can be more powerful and more cost efficient than the Protoss late game. And so I don't know if it's more of the shift in late game power or if it's just where the meta is at, but something hasn't quite been meshing right for Classic in the early months of 2026. I would love to see him turn it around, though.
Yeah, I mean, 2025 was definitely his year. Like, he just looked unstoppable. But let's see. Yeah, there's definitely been a bit of a shift here in the meta. PvZ, excuse me, it can be a lot slower. There seems to be the longest, most winding tech path into late game if you want to play PvZ like that. Like, you can go all the way from, like, I'm going to get Blink, and then I'm going to get the Oracles, then I'm going to tech the Templars, then I'm going to get Starports, or Stargates, excuse me, and then I'm going to eventually go to Carriers, and I'm going to get Tempest, and I'm going to go to Mothership. It's just like this. Never, you know, it takes so long, but you can play this like really kind of safe. I would say kind of Protoss exhaust play. I know when we talk about exhaust play, we kind of talk about Terran, kind of just like, you know, playing a tower defense game and basically, you know, letting the Zerg run out of money on their side of the map. But we can have that, but you don't have to. Protoss always have had very sharp timing attacks, you know, adepts or not. I mean, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what kind of game these guys are going to give us here.
PBZ, it still seems viable to try and play for a death ball type composition, for the lack of a better word. You know, when we talk about exhaust play and Terran versus Protoss or Terran versus Zerg, it's usually almost exclusively defense to the point where all of the minerals, all of the resources are exhausted on the map. That's why we call it an exhaust play. But I feel like when we see somebody like Classic try and play late game PBZ, it's usually building up to a timing. He's traded out enough of the low-tech units, especially the gateway units, and transitioned into an army composition that has no chaff. It's mass Archons, it's full of Stargate units such as Carriers or Tempest, it's got a Mothership, it's got Templar, it's got Immortals or Colossi with it as well. Usually just the Immortals, but you never know in PvZ. And once you get that superb army as Protoss, you don't need to wait for the rest of the map to be mined out. You can actually move across the map and just kill the Zerg. It's really the Zerg's problem to solve, stopping you from getting to that position. And I wonder if we're going to see Classic try to play that style here versus Solar.
Yeah, let's see what he's got. I mean, right now this is a very, very standard opener here. We've got the Oracles coming up, we've got Stalkers, and we're going to see the branch in the build, you know, as far as what he wants to do from here. The Oracle actually is going to go to a little bit below half HP. Not worth it to kill one drone. I do wonder if it would have been wiser to kind of stay back and wait for the second Oracle, because, you know, once the hull's been damaged, it's a lot. You have a lot less that you can do as far as like diving in and doing damage there. The Twilight Council comes down, and again, that still doesn't tell us what kind of game we're going to have. Although he's going to throw gateways down immediately and get a forge. So excuse me, maybe we will not have any kind of time in attack. I guess we could have it's +1, but
yeah, likely it's going to be +1 in Blink. That's where I imagine Classic going with this one. And you can go from +1 Blink into either a 4th base relatively quickly, or if you want, you can stay on just the 4 gases that you've got right now as Classic, and eventually go up towards a timing attack. Really just trying to synergize the 2 Oracles out with these Stalkers. But I think that, oh, look at this. It's actually charged. Charged in a very fast Templar Archive. So this is not what I expected to see from Classic early on here.
Yeah. Getting charged, I always feel like if I see charge this early, it's intended to try to take a fight. And Solar is on the 4th base now. By the way, Solar does like a perfect job of basically pulling this away. Stasis Ward's going to come down. Oh, this is the right move here to try to damage that. Oracle. Lings are going to come through. Right now, Classic's defense is really, really solid. He's going for the Robo, and we're basically seeing him continue to develop in this game.
Yeah, Solar does spawn a couple of Zealots warping in here at the 3rd base to defend, and that's, I think, a notable scout here for Solar. The fact that Classic isn't warping in Stalkers to accompany the Adepts there at the 3rd base, I think should telegraph to the Zerg that it's likely going to be at least not a Blink play, or very likely going to be a charge play. And so Solar's going to be happy to already have the Roach Warren finishing up right now. He's going to start Roach speed. 3 Roaches have already begun, but I imagine we're going to see a lot more Roaches, because if there is going to be any sort of Zealot timing attack or early pressure coming in from the Protoss player, I think Roaches are probably going to be the best answer that Zerg's got to it here in the early game.
Okay, so we're in the tagging cycle right now for the Oracles. You're not really going to get Stasis Wards off. You're not going to snipe workers here. And again, I think the slow cook play for Classic is a good look in this game. He is getting Storm. We could actually have a push with this, by the way. I have a hard time when I follow PvZ sometimes telling, like, is this guy, is it going to be a push, or is he going to just kind of, you know, play single player is what I always call it. Just going to stay back and expand and try to grow.
It's a very flowy matchup. It feels like with the same composition, you can either try and play defensively, or you can try and, say, snipe a 4th or a 5th base.
Yeah.
As Protoss, I think it really just depends on exactly where the game state is, and that's going to vary from game to game. By the way, Infestation Pit's done. We don't have a Hive coming through. We have 6 Swarm Hosts and a Nidus Worm getting started here from Solar. So a big mix-up. Not a typical response that we see in ZVP, but you're on 10,000 feet, especially with the area walled off by the minerals between the main base and the natural expansion and the airspace behind the 3rd base. Swarm Host can be really effective.
Yeah, I think this is literally the best Swarm Host map. In this season of the GSL, because I think the 3rd base is so punishable. So the I think it was an Overseer, went into the main. Did he start the Nidus yet?
I don't believe so.
No,
but
I think. Oh, okay. It's going to be in the middle. All right, so it's going to be one of these things where he's just going to basically be able to tack out on the map. Okay, so we're going to see the attack come in here. And, you know, the Storms are decent. But, you know, the Zerg basically runs away. Now he's going to be forced to recall here if he doesn't. Oh my God. Okay, you know that you need to have the Immortals in the back. This actually went. This was terrible.
This is one of the worst engagements I think I've seen in this GSL. That was hard to watch.
That was pretty bad, dude. All right.
There's not much to say about that.
Hey, it is a best of 3. You know, there's always that. This is terrible. This is really bad. I don't know what I expected. I guess I thought when the Protoss came out that like surely there would be something, you know, that would kind of work out here. But no.
Yeah, the stunning thing is that Classic, it felt like it should be a good window for him to try and get some damage done if there's ever going to be a window, because we had Solar investing into a Nidus Swarm. There were a ton of Swarmos on the map that were going for harassment, that weren't defending, but just the Roachlings were able to completely stop and move out from Classic. And Classic, he might be able to get back into this game. He is retaking the third base. The fourth hatch there for Solar did get sniped, but it's going to be such an uphill battle trying to stabilize from this position.
Yeah, this is going to be a game where the Swarmos can actually like probably fight this just fine. This is going to be a game where I think Classic has to try to survive, and I think probably won't.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nexus I think just finished. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's almost just finished. There are 2 Colossus out here. The problem is that when you go for Swarmos, you can also just he's just going to run right in here.
I think this is pretty much done, honestly. Classic at 100 supply right now. Roaches are streaming in. Both Colossi get stomped. Big grid from Classic there. I think he knows that this game slipped away from him a little bit earlier than it probably should have. He's going to try and stabilize the best he can. Even the probes are getting pulled to try and hold on here at the natural expansion, but both Robos get unpowered. The gateways are unpowered, and that's GG.
GG. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, you know, sometimes I see like a push come out like that, and I'm like, okay, well, this is going to, you know, he's doing this for a reason, right? I don't even know if the angle was better if he would have been able to hold that.
I think it all comes back to the first move out that Classic went for. I mean, that was just an abysmal engagement. He did get the snipe onto the fourth hatchery Solar, but the entire army was moving in kind of a disjointed way across the left side of the map. The Templar got isolated. We had 4 high-energy Templar drop down a blanket of storms.
Yeah.
And eventually just get sniped as a result of it. Really doing, you know, just a little bit of damage to those Roaches. And then even the retreat there for Classic, we didn't have a recall. We had the Immortals and the Zealots effectively on move command trying to shimmy their way past all the links. It could not have gone worse. So that's not really a good litmus test for Classic's at. I think Classic's a much better player than we saw in that game number 1. Everyone has an off moment sometimes. Unfortunately for Classics at the beginning of the series, but let's see if he can tie things up now in game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not... I don't know if I want to see Classic try that again and it works, or if I want to see him do something totally different. Excuse me. Anyway, Solar in the bottom left, Classic in the top right. As we have just now wrapped up an extremely short game 1. By the way, we were talking about this while we were leaving the studio, but like, GSL days have been so long. RSL days have been so short, yet they have the same format.
Yeah, they're both the double elimination group stage format. It's just kind of funny the way that plays out. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's just, you know.
We're casting both leagues, and so even the breaks, it feels like, are pretty much around the same length, you know, between series and such, but just
roughly the same format.
If anything, we might take more breaks in the RSL. But yeah, the GSL games have been such an endurance test for basically everybody. And maybe some of it comes down to the matchups that we've had between players, because Byun Shin especially was just a marathon series. We had that twice yesterday. And Byun Shin also played, I believe, in the round of 8 in GSL Season 1 just a couple of weeks ago, and that was also a marathon series. And so we're getting this like stylistic clash of a lot of different players in the GSL, which leads to the GSL, which typically the group stages we wrap up in under 4 hours. We've had a lot of days that push close to 5, if not more.
Yeah. It's just funny because I remember in my head I was like, well, they're different formats, and I'm like, no, they're not. Not for the group stage. They're the same thing. So yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see how how long this day ends up panning out. But yeah, it's funny how different the 2 leagues have kind of had as far as game types. Because when I look at a GSL day, I feel like my conclusion is that the meta in non-mirror matchups have allowed for very long games.
It does seem like specifically the Terran players are trending in that direction, more towards exhaust play in TVP and in TVZ.
PVZ, I feel like has always had very short, very long games.
Yeah, it's dynamic.
Yeah, it's a very dynamic matchup. So, yeah, we're going to have a Stargate come down now. And I assume this is going to be roughly the same kind of opener. We don't see Protoss really do anything too dramatic early on.
I wasn't paying particularly close attention to Classic's early game build, but that was a 209 Stargate, which is at least 10 seconds faster than it usually is if you go for Probe Scout. So maybe this was core before Nexus. I have to go back and watch the replays of this match. But in any case, it's a significantly faster Stargate here for Classic. So he might try and get more damage done with the Oracles than he did in the previous game, where Solar was able to parry pretty much every attempt at harassment from Classic very well. And I think if Classic goes for it, he has a good shot to get damage done this time. The timing's just going to be a little bit better here for Protoss.
Okay, so we are going to see the Ling get shot down there. First Adept's going to come out, second Gateway goes down. So far it's the same build, but you know, with Protoss you basically have to get like about 2 Oracles out, you get the third base up, and then we kind of see what sort of game we're going to have here. Excuse me.
Classic just continuing to develop. First Oracle is out on the map right now. About 10 seconds faster than it would be in a typical build here. So we'll see what Classic's able to get done with this. Silver is now just spawning the very first Oracle. And Classic actually going to pull back. I think he saw those Zerglings coming across the map and he wants to make sure that he has enough units at home here to defend because it's only 2 Adepts. 1 is here at the third base and there are enough Lings to clean that up. The Oracle isn't here to assist.
Okay, it's going to be a Phoenix. Now, I would assume this is just going to be 1. We've seen this used to scout. I'm sorry, where's the Oracle? Why is... Oh, he's just doing a drone transfer.
Yeah, I think it's much safer for the Zerg to send all the drones at once like this and then not be rallying drones for the natural expansion of the third base because that's always the most exposed part of the Zerg's
Oh, no, that's really good analysis,
right?
State. I think you're right. Yeah, it makes more sense to just do a huge shift because a lot of Oracles, a lot of players, excuse me, will park the Oracles in between the 2 and then try to snipe down drones as they rally over there. And he's going to send the Phoenix in with this. I don't know, guys. I don't know about that one.
It can be a great move. I think that just wasn't the right moment to do it.
Yeah.
We've seen players like Hero do this. I can't remember if he did this in GSL Season 1 or if it was last year in GSL, where Hero had a couple of games where he went for this maneuver. And it's very flashy. And you love to see it when it pays off, you know? Solar's just been so ironclad with the defense.
So there's no, excuse me, there's no, going to be real attempts to kind of do anything here from the Zerg to the Protoss. Both the Oracles are pretty bruised right now, so you can't really do too much. Other than try to, harass these probes, which, by the way, this is pretty good. Good block here with the Adept. Nice block with the Pylon, too. And we're going to go with Charge again. Will we see the same kind of style? I love the Adepts, by the way, coming in here. This is great. If he can get it one more drone, maybe. Oh, and he's going to be in range to see this Hydra Den here.
Yeah, Hydra Den was spotted by the Adepts, so Classic should have a pretty good picture for exactly what's going on. He's opting for the exact same charge build into Templar Archives. And I imagine going versus Hydralisk, because you're going to be playing a much more passive game here as Classic, and just kind of relying on Storm to zone away the Hydralisks and the Zerglings as Classic tries to develop, because that composition, it's very glass cannony, but it's hard to attack into it as the Protoss player would just charge lot Templar, especially in a main engagement. If you're going to be going for any kind of fight as Protoss, it's usually going to be just sending maybe a dozen Zealots at most to go for some sort of counterattack. It's not really going to be a move out with a whole army. By the way, one more Oracle getting sniped there by the Spore Crawler. Oracles just really have not been paying off for Classic so far in these first 2 games.
I think we're literally seeing the same build again, minus, well, I guess, plus the Phoenix from Classic. Like, he's going to basically try to move out here. He's got the Warp Prism. He's going to have Storm. Now, it is Hydra Tech instead of Roaches, so we could end up with a very different result, right? Although, did he actually get any Immortals? I don't think he did.
Not this time.
Okay, so it is slightly different. I stand corrected.
Yeah, I think the main thing we should be keeping an eye out for is whether Classic goes for a relatively fast 4th base with this, or if he is going to be pushing out, trying to get a big damage done with that Warp Prism, because you have to be so careful pushing out versus Hydra Ling.
Yeah, so Oh, no, yeah, you can't actually hide the Oracle back there. I thought there was enough room back there to do that. Is he going to lose it? Oh.
I kind of thought there was too. I think you need to like tilt the camera in some way to actually click all the way into the corner. I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like
does that work?
Yeah, because otherwise, just because of the way the view works, yeah, the UI covers it.
We should really have a tournament where you have to play with the whole everybody's screen's tilted. Like the page up here, whatever does that.
Yeah. My one of my favorite things to do when I'm streaming sometimes is to play completely zoomed in.
Oh yeah.
It's like trying to play like a StarCraft 2 FPS that never released.
Yeah.
Anyway, Classic going for a big counterattack right now with these Templar and the Zealots. He's able to snipe down the 4th hatchery, which is a win here for Classic, but unfortunately, you have to be careful because a ton of Hydras have worked their way across the map. One Templar warps in. I think Classic was angling to try and get an energy recharge. That Templar does get sniped, so it's mostly going to be Zealots here on the defense. Honestly, this engagement going really well for Classic. The Storms have done huge damage to the Hydras.
Yeah, not enough in front of these Hydras.
Look at
to really
this.
Protect them. The Zealot's going to be able to chase these Hydras back. But Solar's still on the move. Solar's going to try to come up here. He actually is going to be able to save at least 4 Hydras, which is pretty big. Hydras are so valuable in StarCraft 2. And, there's no Storm to be seen. The 4th base is going to be forced to cancel. I don't know if he would have been able to save that here. Another nice little dodge. Again, remember, Storm doesn't do as much damage. Or I guess it does damage, but you have to stay in it. Excuse me, stay in it. Okay, so this could be bad here for Solar. He's going to be fully surrounded. And the Storms, are just going to be so brutal. Wow. All right. Nicely done.
Classic gets one on the board.
Yeah, I think Solar was a little bit too ambitious there with that. I don't know why. He knew that the Archons and Templars were back there, right? They didn't get recalled. So
yeah, I think Solar was just trying to get... he lost the 4th base during that, and I believe he was already trying to set up for some sort of timing attack with a Hydra Ling.
Yeah.
And so he just doubled down after the attempted attack at Classic's 4th base was only able to succeed in getting a cancel. Things just kind of spiraled out from there. So we're going to go into a set number 3 after 2 relatively quick games. Classic with a much better iteration of the build he went for in game number 1.
Although, again, not really winning with the push. More like Solar losing with the counterattack.
Yeah, but at least this time the push, it sniped the base, and the army didn't get thrown away basically for free. Like we saw in game number 1. That was the real tragedy on 10,000 feet there for Classic, was how the Immortals, the Templar, were able to get isolated and picked off basically for free there by Solar. Much better control of the situation this time as Classic, as map number 3 is loading in. Match point here between both these players. Which one's going to be moving on to the winners match here in Group B? Who will fall into the elimination match, as we have Classic spawning in the bottom left as the blue Protoss, Solar, the red Zerg at the top right on the best macro map in the pool, Celestial Enclave.
Okay. Pylon coming down here. Classic going for a fast expand, as Protoss always do. And let's see, is it going to be the same kind of delivery here from Classic? A mid-game push right on the Zerg's 4th. Kind of everything we know about beating Zerg, usually in the mid-game, is hinged around trying to do something to that 4th base. In the last 2 maps, Solar was able to take pretty safe 4th bases, by the way, and lost both. On this map, it's a little bit harder to take a safe 4th. Well, I guess you could if you took your interior base, actually. I take that back. So we could have another situation where, positionally, Zerg's kind of cruising on 4 bases.
Especially if Solar kind of sticks to the playstyle that he's really been leaning heavily on so far in this current patch, which is a relatively low drone count playstyle that focuses on trying to end the game in the mid game, because then you don't really mind having the backdoor expansion only being half minerals with 1 Bisping Geyser, because they're not trying to get up to like 70 or 80, 90 plus drones, You get the 66 for the first 3 bases, and then however many extra drones it is to saturate that back pocket base. And then you can pump the gas on army production until your main and your natural start mining out,
So this time around, we got to see what the mid-game tech is going to be for Solar. He went for Roaches last time. The Hydras, I think that game, look, if he had killed off the 4th base and just ran back, I think the game would have gone on.
If Solar had gotten the cancel on Classic's 4th base and then retreated?
Yeah. I think that was the play. I don't know why he ran across there and tried to end it. When Hydras are not on creep, they're terrible they're retreating. They basically can't retreat. There are certain Zerg units in certain matchups where you have to just understand that, like, the game goes in one direction once you start a fight. Like, if you lose this, you lose everything. Because you can't run away quickly. It's like if you watch Roach Ravager against a bunch of Stalkers and they start to lose, it's like the Stalkers will chase them all the way across the map and kill everything, right? Hydra is against Zealots. They will eventually just get picked off and chased down if they don't win overwhelmingly.
Yeah, in the previous game, it was, what, only 4 Hydralisks that actually survived that engagement, pushing into Classic's 4th base.
Right.
Whereas Solar, or Classic was able to retain, I think it was 4+ Templar and a ton of assistant gateway units after sniping the 4th base of Solar. And those reinforcing units coming from cross-map were a big part of why Classic was able to hold on and just mop up the army of Solar.
Okay. For now, we're going to have the Oracles come out again, as well as the Adept. We'll see if Classic waits with the first Oracle until he has 2 or not. Some players like to come out and poke with the first one and try to clip a couple drones off here, but if you wait for 2, you can one-shot stuff. And so that first Oracle is going to be inbound now.
Yeah, we'll see what Classic's able to get done with these Oracles. So far, Solar's Oracle defense has been so good. And I was wondering for a moment if Classic might try to pair up the first 2 Adept shading into either the natural expansion or maybe the main base with an Oracle to get damage done. As that is a maneuver we've seen players here in the GSL try for at least a couple of times so far, but Classic instead doing the saber thing, brings the 2 Adepts back to guard the natural wall and the 3rd base. And I think he's content not to get too much damage done with these Oracles. I remember a period, I want to say like last year, where you kind of expect the first 2 Oracles to get at least 5 or 6 drone kills in most games. But nowadays it seems like Zerg players have gotten so good with the Spore Crawler timings, with the Queen movements. It's rare that you see the Oracles really getting that much damage done. I say that they're about to snipe the Queen, but
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, he takes the Queen out. That Oracle going to be very low on HP. Once again, Forge, 3rd Nexus, Blink starting here. We'll see if we get the Robo after that. Meanwhile, the Lings are going to come in here. This is actually going to be enough. The Oracles will have to come back here and defend. And, we have the the tech here from Solar is going to look a lot like Game 1. We'll see. This is, by the way, a build with the Phoenix incorporated. Although I don't know if he can go across the map and get a pick up here on a kill with the Queen with how low the Oracles are, but we'll see.
It might also just be utilized kind of the same way that we see a Void Array utilized, where its job is just to clean up all the Overlords on the map.
Yeah, you're totally right. It could be that as well. Just basically a clearing Phoenix. We're seeing that over here.
Yeah, Solar would have to pull a lot of Queens and walk very far off creeps to defend even the Overlord that he's got right now in the center of the map.
It does seem like, yeah, if you're going to do like a clear this way, you don't want to have any Overlord see the push coming before it gets there. Now, I do feel like when you see moves like this can telegraph the push. It's kind of like if you see the Protoss rush into trying to kill Overlords before they can get inside the base. It's like, are you hiding something? Should I be ready for some kind of cheese here?
But if Classic does it in the majority of his PvZs these days, well then suddenly it's a little bit more obscure. If it's just something that he does, then it doesn't really telegraph whether there's going to be a push or not anymore, right?
Right.
Because already in this game number 3, even though we have the same Phoenix incorporated here, it's going to be a different build from Classic. He's going to Blink first instead of Charge. And it looks like Solar's going to be the one on 51 drones who's going to get very aggressive. He's gearing up for a big push. Classic is aware of this. He spots it with the Phoenix. He knows this push is coming. The Queen's even getting lifted right now. The Overlord.
Very sharp timing attack here. The Queen's going to be able to transfuse as well as hit the air. And he's going to go right up here. Keep in mind, the Cyber... Okay, he's actually going to go for the 3rd base here. And the Stalkers blink back. And some of the best positioning I've ever seen. It does allow them to be hit with those corrosive vials. The Lings, I think he wants to try to keep his distance here. Again, he's going to fire this in again. A blink to the side. Classic looking really good. And this kind of web of shield batteries is making for some great surface area. The blink cooldown and the bio cooldown, it kind of works out pretty favorably for the Protoss here. Now, he's still doing damage up here, but he's going to blink right on top. Can he actually overpower him here? And is this going to completely knock, by the way, this is what I'm talking about. You can't run away from a fight. He's going to kill Overlords. He's going to kill everything that you see over here. And yeah, does this completely knock Solar into this weird position where it's very hard to recover as we move through the mid game?
I think it does. Solar was in the low 50s in terms of drones right now. He's trying to recuperate that right now with some really big drone counts coming in there on the production tab. But I mean, Classic's in such a good position. You know, he took very little probe damage there at the third base. Is now taking the fourth expansion. I don't really see a path forward here for Solar to get back into this, especially if Classic starts getting active here with the Blink Stalkers.
Okay, nice catch here by Classic. Classic, by the way, this is kind of his game to lose, so to speak. I mean, the fact that that attack backfired so poorly, and there was a real commitment there from Solar. I mean, whenever you see like the drop overlord like that, it's engineered to hit like really hard. Like you don't have time to see the queens moving across the map and react. The fourth base is preemptively canceled. The drone is killed off, and Solar's going to seesaw his expansion development back into his interior base. So the free base in the back. Kind of a sign of where Zerg is at in this game. Protoss very much in control. Protoss leading in supply right now, just slightly.
Yeah, and leading in supply, especially being this close in army supply, while the Zerg player is going into Roaches and Ravagers, is very concerning right now for Solar, because Classic's army, even though it's a little bit lower in supply, is significantly more valuable. It's higher tech than what Solar's got. But Solar, because he went for that early push and he had so much committed in trying to get damage done, his hands are kind of tied right now. He needs to continue pumping units. Otherwise, when Classic, or if Classic decides to push across the map, as he did in game number 1 and now he did in game number 2, if Solar wasn't producing units basically the entire time to try and defend, the game is effectively going to be over. Classic's army is going to be way too powerful. So for Solar right now, there isn't really a lot of room to make good decisions. You just kind of need to keep making units and hoping that Classic makes a mistake. Hope that you get a very favorable engagement of Solar that's going to allow you to eventually tech up into high, that's going to allow you to expand across more bases on the map. Because right now the situation is not looking good, and Classic's feeling confident enough to move out at just 160 supply.
He's going to push up now. And the question's going to be, does Zerg have an engage where they can really do a lot of damage? You want to try to surround here and hit from multiple sides, so where the Stalkers don't have anywhere to blink. The Lings are going to try to come in onto the flank. Come in, basically force the blink early. The Vials are shot out. Protoss sidesteps it by moving back. Zerg off creep is going to go ahead and regroup. And Solar's leaning in. He's making more Lings. He's making more Roaches. And is he just going to try to full send this?
I think now is as good a time as any. That was a little bit of a mistake right there by Classic moving into a Solar who just kept pumping the gas on units. Templars didn't get too much done, but here defensively, Solar is going to be a lot more effective. You can see the army values very close between these two players. One of the issues for Solar, though, is it's the same as before. We don't have a big answer for these Oracles. The Oracles got so much value last time. Fortunately for Solar this time, Classic a little bit overeager there. One of the Oracles gets sniped by the 3 Queens that are coming with this army.
He's going to come in here and hit again. And, the issue is going to be, can Solar actually do enough damage? Wow, he really ate a lot on that Storm back there. And
Storm huge.
I just feel like basically Classic's going to pick his fights here. Now he's finally able to get the sandwich going. He's going to be hitting here from the left and the right. There is some surface area to retreat into, so the Stalkers in the back are not able to quite fight.
His Blink was on cooldown. Those Biles did a lot of damage, but still you can see that the reinforcements coming for Classic, and the Storms have already gotten everything so low on HP that another Blink forward is going to come in by Classic. And the feeling of deja vu. It's Classic pushing back the Roach Ravager Queen. Walk of Solar once more.
Yeah, just so much damage being dealt over here. And he's going to push us all the way across the map. He does not have an observer here, so he's not cleaning creep. Or no, maybe he is. He is cleaning some creep somehow. We're going to see Mothership tech here. I'm liking the game right now for Classic. Solar's still on 4 bases.
Yeah, it's kind of the same situation that we were in just a couple of minutes ago after the failed first attack by Solar, where once more, Solar, again, just needs to continue to pump units out, particularly Roaches and Ravagers, to try and survive. He's kind of forced into this situation where he's building an army that is not going to scale well into the late game. And this time, the next iteration of Classic's army is going to be even stronger. It's going to have Immortals, it's going to have a Mothership, Archons, and even some Tempest mixed in. The anti-air right now, it's just a couple of Queens. It's 8 Queens in total, 4 here on the front lines, and some Biles. That's all that you've got right here is Solar. And so this Mothership plus Tempest are going to be absolutely huge once they're done.
Yeah, and Zerg's going to try to basically come up here and break into the natural. Not able to quite do so. Zerg bleeding off quite a bit. Biles actually connecting onto that Immortal. I'm not sure what else he's going to be able to get done here. The Mothership pops out. Back over here on the map. It's still going to be 4 base to 4 base. Sorry, 5 base now to 5 base. They're both expanding. Although I'm worried this, if Protoss can punch through this, he's going to go up a little bit further and probably take this base out. I think Solar may be close to dying.
Yeah, GG is called. Classic's going to take the first series here in Group B, move on into the winner's match.
Yeah, Classic definitely making that work. I really liked, how he handled the initial push from Solar. He had, the attack towards that third base. It basically made like that whole array of batteries and then just blinked behind that. And it's funny, when you look at Corrosive, Bile, and Blink, like they can basically always fire a Bile and you will always blink out of the way and not take damage. And by the time the Bile's ready, there'll be another Blink ready. Yeah, and I mean, basically, it's a tough game from there. Whenever you do one of these sharp timing attacks and it doesn't at least kill the base or like kill a bunch of attack and workers, it's going to be a much more difficult game. Guys, we're going to go to a short break. Coming up next, Zoun versus GuMiho.
I know that you're longing for a little change, a bit of something different in a different place, somewhere the grass is greener. Call it a spiritual healer. I hear you, darling, I feel you.
이, 3타를 우승을 하고 그 다음 시즌에는 준우승 왕의 귀환 또 신의 귀환이 될.
아마추어에서 이제 ASL 리거가 된 생애 최초의 결승전체 저구왕조의 트로피를 이어받는
현 시점 가장 창의적이고 가장 공격적이고 가장 유연한 플레이를 보여주는
최고의 승률을 자랑하고 있는 진짜가 돌아왔어요.
생각에 딜레이가 없는 것 같이 움직여요.
압도적입니다. 5회 우승은 꿈이 아닌 것 같은 그런.
지금은 저의 세대입니다. 영호 형이 저한테 지는 그림이 그려져요.
원래 제자리였기 때문에 가져올 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
GSL Season 2.
Welcome back, everybody. We're ready to go into our second best of 3 of the evening. Classic overcoming Solar back there, 2-1. Now we move on to Zoun versus GuMiho.
Yeah, this should be a very fun series between these two. GuMiho's always been one of my favorite players to watch, to cast. He's always so creative about the things that he does. He plays kind of a different brand of Terran from pretty much everybody else. And sometimes that leads to glory for him. I mean, there have been moments where it feels like GuMiho is just the best player in the world. And there are also some moments where, you know, we don't see him in GSL Code S because his style, I feel like so much of it hinges on his creativity and the execution of something where he doesn't really have any peers with the way that he likes to play. So I want to see what GuMiho has coming up here versus Zoun.
I memorized all the build order, but I can't macro my life.
Put it on a
All right,
t-shirt.
I think we can. I think he's memorized all of the build orders, but he can't macro for his life. Hope he can macro.
I
his life.
like how philosophical this is, though. You know?
Yeah, this is, yes.
I mean,
Distribute.
I think you're probably right. That's probably what he meant. But I like not being able to macro. I haven't macroed very well in my life. I'm going to be honest about it. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also memorized all the build order in my life, but I cannot macro.
I didn't even know the build. It's been a mess,
Yeah.
frankly. That's why I like playing StarCraft. I feel like I have control of everything. Where my life is just chaos. Tasteless.
I've been doing the wrong build order in my life is what's going on. It's all right. Oh, now you know there's something about GuMiho's background. He's always behind this futuristic purple cyberpunk city.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this.
I'm looking for a Terran tutor who can help my SC rehab. All right.
I mean, the highs are so high and the lows are so low here with GuMiho. Look at
like the
2025 GSL Season 2, round of 4. Top 4 in that GSL, top 4 in the GSL before at 2025, and then didn't make Code S. The first season here at 2026.
Yeah.
Now he's back.
Yeah, that's true. I like the shirt sustain.
Sustain. That's a good one.
We need to do more than just sustain, I think. All right, so we have GuMiho from his futuristic cyberpunk city versus Zoun, currently deep in space, far from any star right now.
This is the legacy of Void.
He's
in
the Void right
Zoun
now.
is the legacy.
Yes. Map 1 is going to be Winter Madness. These two in a best of 3. The winner will go on to face off against Classic in Group B here in today's GSL.
All right, map number 1 has loaded in Winter Madness to start things out in this best of 3 with Zoun spawning as the blue Protoss in the top left, GuMiho, the red Terran in the bottom right. We have an early probe scout coming across the map here by Zoun. Something we've seen quite often here in the GSL. Hero is one of the players that does this pretty much every single game. I think SOS, I'm trying to remember yesterday, he was also mixing this in occasionally, wasn't he? The very fast probe scout. It's really trending now in the Korean
Hero's
space.
doing it a lot too. I mean, I think it's smart. I mean, there was especially like you know, last season and a little bit of last year, there was a lot of like proxies going on, and I think just trying to figure this out. I think the Terran counter to this is to start doing Makaraks, and I think that's kind of what he did even over here, putting his barracks in the back of his base. There's a chance you see that, you think, oh, it's going to be Command Center first, or oh, it's you know, it is a Makaraks or Proxy Rex or something like that. But he just goes inside all the way into the main, scouts it, and sees what's going on.
It's a smart move. It is a little bit expensive sending one of your first mining workers cross-map immediately, but As you can see, Zoun being relentless here with the harassment on the probe forces GuMiho to also pull an SCV to keep tabs on this. So both players have just one worker that is not mining. And Zoun's getting pretty much the complete picture here in the main base of GuMiho. He sees the barracks timing, the placement. He knows that it's a one gas opening for now coming in from GuMiho. And this will likely transpose into just a one barracks fast expansion for Terran, which is about the easiest thing to go up against here as Zoun. There's no immediate pressing issue as Protoss. You can kind of choose how you want to play this. And for Zoun, it's actually going to be a Zealot before Nexus. So potentially some aggression coming in early here for Zoun.
Yeah. Reaper about to pop out here. We're going to get into the 1-1-1 tech here for the Terran. Excuse me. And yeah, let's see, what kind of game GuMiho's going to get us. He always has a different style of play. You know, he's always got a very, very novel approach. So I'm always, whenever he comes back, I'm like, okay, what's he going to do? And is it going to be more mech heavy, or kind of, involve, very obtuse openings? He, by the way, might have some of the most builds I've ever seen in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, Special's another player that I think of who just seems to have a extremely wide array of builds they can deploy at any given moment. SCV for GuMiho, by the way, going to be scouting the very first Zealot here in the middle of the map. So, likely going to try and get some micro in with a Reaper, start damaging that as early as possible.
Tech Lab being added on over to the barracks here. And the Adept's going to come up here. Just when the Zealot runs out of shields, basically, and start to try to put this pressure on. There's no bunker up here at the entrance. I think he's just a second or two shy from killing the SCV, right? Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, it finishes. I was going to say, I think that command center is going to be done. That would have been massive had he actually gotten that. The Hellion and the Reaper over here taking a fight, but they kill the Adept, which means the Zealot, if Terran micros this correctly, just can't do anything. The second Adept's going to come up, but the Zealot's already pretty low. Gets popped over to the side. The Marauder's actually not being shown, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is.
Why is that happening?
Huh.
Why is he not? Okay, I think it must have been a mistake. I don't think there's any. Would you want to hide the Marauder? Does that make sense?
Well, he's making more. He's making a third Marauder, which is very unusual to have this early on. It almost looks like it's going to be like a Marauder drop or something, which is something you really don't see often early game in TVP. In fact, I can't even remember the last time that I saw something like 3 or 4 Marauders dropped early with the medevac, if that is going to be the play here from GuMiho. And so it makes sense not to want to show the first Marauder, but the reality is there was just too much coming in from Zoun that GuMiho must show one Marauder to defend. So Zoun will have at least some idea. The Marauders are out on the map, and there is the potential for some damage coming in from them. Yeah, 3 Marauders and a medevac. Really unusual looking build.
When you said Marauder drop, I was thinking like, no way. Like, is that what he's gonna do? But you're right. Yeah,
it's GuMiho, man. He does crazy things.
It's so hard to predict what this guy is going to do. Let's see how ready Zoun is for this.
Pair this up with a Hellion and a Reaper coming in the front. You can focus fire down the Stalkers here with the Marauders to get the Hellion and Reaper. Try and find some damage. Hellion does get picked off here at the natural expansion ramp. GuMiho's just going to pick off one pylon, and that's it. So not the best exchange here for GuMiho. Loses the Reaper and Hellion for just 1 pylon, a little bit of damage on a probe. It's a fun build. I like this opening. You never know what you're going to get with GuMiho.
Yeah, I mean, he's really got a different way of approaching this. We don't have a third base started right now. Terran may try to size up for a push. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that Marauder drop. I want to know what it looks like if it works. Like, what would Protoss be going for where you go, oh no, not the Marauder drop, and everything falls apart?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if there just isn't a shield battery in the natural expansion, then things can get out of control pretty quickly. If you're trying to rely mostly on Blink Stalkers for the defense, and Blink isn't done just yet, but
yeah,
we'd have to see a couple more run-throughs of this build to really get a good picture, I think. It's one of the reasons why GuMiho is always such a dangerous opponent is nobody really plays quite like GuMiho, and so how do you prepare for a player like this?
So we have Charge coming down here, which is generally good versus 2 base pushes. Ouch! Takes the medevac out. Gonna dive over here onto the combat shields, but of course he cannot kill that in time. So the recall is used. Does this prompt Terran to move out? I feel like you get inside the base, you see no command center. The only thing it can be is a bunch of buildings here to have a push. I guess unless you were to hide a command center, which wouldn't really make sense. And so the push is going to come out. Now, Blink is not going to be very strong against this. There's not a whole lot you can leverage with that ability. A lot of times with the Stalkers, you want to try to get in between this so you can kill the reinforcements. Charge is going to be done, but you're going to actually have enough. Oh my god, he killed the tank.
A nice pick off there by Zoun.
That's crazy.
But a lot of the power for this build is going to be in the infantry. +1 infantry while the combat shield are getting closer and closer towards completion. +1 actually a little bit delayed, so it will not quite sync up with this timing attack. This is a critical moment to be coming in. Okay, the engagement doesn't happen before combat shield is done. Charge also about to finish. With the stim, I think GuMiho might just kind of sack the siege tank and go for the snipe on this Nexus, and then maybe try and get up into the main base or something, but...
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get it, but can he actually get out? I mean, with the medevacs here, ooh, I don't know about this. I actually think that was bad for GuMiho. A general rule, I feel like this is one of the first things I had to learn when I started trying to play seriously, is like, it's almost never worth it to like run your whole army onto an expansion to kill it, because they're going to just kill your army and remake the base, and then they can always counterattack. The only time you want to do that is if you have like just lings or something, right? Now, I don't know that he's going to break the natural. We're going to see, but he certainly can't take a third base. His Zealots are just going to spill through here. SCV's doing some good body blocking. The bunker's not done. So, I mean, Protoss can keep going for this right now. Is there a Warp Prism with this? Can he actually warp more in?
No Warp Prism, I think. So for Zoun right now, it's just about trying to get damage done with these little in and out maneuvers.
I love the Zealot just coming over here. He's going to force Terran to come over further to the side here.
Oh, Zoun's actually going to commit onto this.
Yeah, the CC's going to get lifted. And, you know, this is looking worse and worse for Terran.
Yeah, this isn't even all that Zoun has got because there aren't reinforcements with this, but the Blink 4 going to snipe another siege tank. Most of the SCVs are gone. GuMiho, he's close to holding. He might barely survive, but at what cost? I mean,
I think he's cooked, man. This is over. I mean, there's no SCVs at this base. I mean, Protoss is taking a fourth base. This is going perfectly here for Zoun. And there's no way this third command center can be landed soon. GuMiho's going to try to move out on the map. I mean, right now, Protoss has double the supply, literally. GG. Yeah, I was going to say, like, I don't know what the game plan is. So, game one going to Zoun. I don't know, man. That was a weird-looking game. I'm impressed with you, though, State, that you called the Marauder drop.
Oh, I've played in the dregs of StarCraft 2 ladder on Korea.
MMR
I've seen a thing or two taste.
There's things they're doing down there, man, that only mutants do. I've seen the mute. I know what you're talking about. The mutant build orders. You go, nobody good does this, but this is a thing that exists down at this level.
Watch GuMiho do another one of these builds where he just proxies. He proxies a factory and does a door rush with an SCV pull or something in one of these games.
Yeah, just down in the dregs. Of the ladder.
It's a bizarre opening. I would love to see it accomplish what its goal is accomplishing, because I'm sure GuMiho had higher hopes for the build and sniping a pylon and trading out a Hellion and a Reaper for really not very much. But it's hard to imagine exactly what that looks like when it is a full success. You can tell that's probably part of the reason why GuMiho is so apprehensive about showing the first Marauder. He needs all of the doubt possible.
Oh, I think you're right about hiding the first Marauder. I thought it was a mistake, but yeah, you're right. Also, just committing on the Nexus, where it's like you're going to lose your whole army.
Yeah, that was the critical mistake in that game, I think. Anyway, folks, map number 2 has loaded in. We're on White Rabbit. Zoun is up 1-0, spawning at the top right is the blue Protoss. GuMiho down at the bottom left is the red Terran. We've had some quick games so far today. I know we're only 3 matches in, but or 4 maps in, I guess I should say, but they've been fast.
Yeah, much quicker conclusions to the games this time around. Yeah, let's see what GuMiho's going to do. Again, it was odd to see that he went for the Marauder drop, and honestly, there were several things wrong. I mean, first of all, like, let's take a Widowmine drop, right? A Widowmine drop always at least gets 2 probes, and a lot of times it gets out. A lot of times you can take the Widow Mines back into it, or even just one, and then you go to the corner, and you kind of sit there, and it's kind of a scary game for the Protoss. you know, if Protoss doesn't have their screen in the right place at the right time, the Widowmine drop is going to kill an insane amount of probes. I know on pro level, it's almost anticlimactic because they always just have one probe that gets killed. But, you know, it just seemed like everything that GuMiho went for, from the strategy to the execution on the drop to the execution on the push. I don't know if had he fought that would have looked a lot better. But yeah, he like committed on the Nexus, and then that army got killed, and then Protoss was like, oh, I mean, I guess it's not like Zoun wanted to win with that push with the Colossus and Stalkers. He just saw that, like, I mean, what I'm trying to say, that was not his master plan, right? That's not his strategy. He just went, I don't know, he just threw his whole army away. Let's see what damage I can do. Oh, I'm going to kill all the SCVs of the natural. Oh, I won.
Yeah, it feels like the timings didn't quite synergize there for GuMiho. Notably, +1 infantry weapons was a little bit delayed behind combat shields as well. You know, usually when you have a Terran build where you're trying to snipe a third base like GuMiho did in map number 1, all the upgrades kind of finish at the exact same moment, and that is the moment where you basically have the biggest power spike, and you try to leverage that by taking a favorable fight versus your opponent. In that instance for GuMiho, the upgrades kind of trickled in over the course of the engagement. I don't even know if +1 infantry weapons was done by the time that they finished the fight at the third base. So I hope that things line up a little bit better here for GuMiho in game number 2.
Okay, so he chases the Reaper out now. Much more conservative game this time around from GuMiho, even making the command center on the high ground. Very low chance. Oh my God, he almost let the Zealot in. That was crazy. Yeah, very low chance that the Zealot can kill the SCV. You know, the RNG of the SCV being pushed over there is going to happen. Now, are we going to have a third base here? Is it going to be 2-base powering? By the way, 2-basing PvT seems to be pretty trendy right now. We've had a lot of that this season of GSL so far, and last season too.
It feels like Terran, at least in Korea here in GSL, it feels like Terran is typically either going for some kind of early build where they're trying to take out Protoss when Terran is on 2 bases, or they're going for an exhaust play. There isn't very much in between. And it does, I suppose, make sense because typically those are the strong points for Terran. It's in the very early stages when you do your first timing attack with siege tanks with a bunch of critical upgrades finishing at the right moment. Or it's in the extreme late game where we're able to have a lot of macro orbital commands. You could sacrifice a lot of SCVs to get a huge army supply. You know, Goats, Liberators, these are units that are very powerful in a late game scenario versus Protoss. And so just the lack of success that Terran players are having versus the very macro heavy, low tech style that is the current meta of PvT means that we either get games that are over very quickly with the Terran player trying to go for a push and either it wins or it fails, or a Terran has to go for a long exhaust play. And then the game can go on 20, 30 plus minutes.
Okay, Medevac's gonna come out here. And by the way, this is looking a lot more like the PvT you expect to see here, TVP, yeah. And he does get one worker. That was way too ambitious. Oh, okay. I thought he was going to infer over, so I was like, oh, wow. And Blink's done. Stalkers are going to move across the map. There's no pin created right now by GuMiho because both the Widowmines are dead. So I thought I saw an observer with this, right? Wasn't there one? Or maybe he's making that and it's going to go across the map now.
I'm not sure where the observer is, if there is one.
Maybe I was thinking of the hallucinated Phoenix there.
Oh, perhaps.
Yeah. So,
ooh, Blink is done. You can sight this medevac.
Oh my God!
That's a nice pickoff for Zoun.
It just disappears.
Yeah, there's something about, I know people have been asking about this, there's something about having the best observer mod, or whatever it is, or maybe it's the maps, where it causes some of the unit animations, especially the death animations, to not fully go. And I don't think there's anything that we can do about it, or GSL can do about it.
We need Blizzard to patch it, yeah.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but if you're wondering why like a medevac or a warp might suddenly just disappear, that kind of is what it is. It's been around for like a couple years now, I want to say.
They went back in time and stopped that medevac from existing, and that's why it blinked out of existence. So he's going to come in here. There's no way he's going to get the stim. Yeah, there's a tank here, Marauder, 2 Marines to guard it. Things are pretty well covered.
This is a very nice defense so far here for GuMiho. So Zoun going to take a third base, continue to power up. We don't have a shield battery here in the natural expansion, so there is some potential for the Raven to get a couple of probe kills should decide to move in. But interestingly, GuMiho actually not going for it. He got the Raven into a pretty aggressive position between the natural and the third and the dead airspace, and then pulled the Raven back. Huh. I feel like you almost always see the Terran player commit to it with auto turrets, and it seemed like that would be a good setup for their natural expansion, but GuMiho thinking otherwise.
Okay. Medevac's going to pick up and move out. And, you know, it's a very sparse amount of Stalkers here. Oh my god, he's going to get in here right as the tank's on siege. This is nice. And he's going to be able to take out the Hellion. Not bad. He'll take that for free. Stim's done. The push is going to hit. How prepared is Protoss? Protoss, I think, is just going to have charge done right as this hits, as well as Storm.
Yeah, but neither of those upgrades will be finished for the first attack with the two medevacs and the Raven coming here. Zhao does not expect it, so he instantly loses one of the Stalkers here at the third base. The probes are going to pull to the back, and I think likely get recalled if Zhao can't hold on.
Yeah, he's going to blink over to the side to meet up with the army. I like the auto turret down here, making it a lot harder to fight that. Storm and Charger almost done. Nice snipe here by the Stalkers. GuMiho's going to regroup as he's taking his own third. And we got to see, are there enough Zealots? Can Protoss actually overwhelm this? Charge is literally 5 seconds out. Oh, can he actually get the Raven? That would be nice. The auto turrets are going to come down here. And the question is going to be, do you sack this base or not? Storm coming down. Once again, GuMiho trying to damage down the Nexus. The Zealots are going to spill through. They're going to take the tank out. The Stalker's doing a lot more damage. More Zealots are going to come through here. And this attack has been completely shut down. A damaged Nexus is still a functional Nexus. GG GuMiho. Totally outclassed. Totally outclassed.
I mean, both attacks that GuMiho went for in the early stages, map number 1 and map number 2, did not work out for him. We're going to have Zhao advancing to the winners match here in Group B. He's going to go up against Classic later on. Solar will fall, or GuMiho will fall to face Solar in the elimination match. So not the best start here for GuMiho. We got a little bit more of a standard build in that game number 2, but Zhao just seems so well equipped to deal with these timing attacks.
I don't know. I mean, I sometimes I see these attacks come out, and when I see Charge is done, I'm like, I don't think this is going to work at all. And it doesn't. I mean, it just shuts it down. I don't know. Two basing seems like it's had moments in the meta. Right now, maybe not so strong. We're going to go to a short break. Coming up next, a PvP for the winners match in Group B of today's GSL.
that you're longing for a little change. A bit of something different in a different place. Somewhere the grass is greener. Call it a spiritual healer. I hear you, darling, I feel ya. Me and you, there's nothing we can't do together. Come on, let's go fly away. Find a beautiful escape. With the wind on our backs, we'll be going so fast. There's no need to be afraid. Come on, let's go fly away now. Come on, let's go fly away. I never feel lost even in the unknown. 'Cause when I'm with you, yeah, it feels like home. Feels like home. Me and you, there's nothing we can do together. Come on, let's go fly away. Find a beautiful escape. With the wind on our backs, we'll be going so fast. There's no need to be afraid. Come on, let's go fly away now. Come on, let's go fly away.
이, 3타를 우승을 하고 그 다음 시즌에는 준우승, 왕의 귀환, 또 신의 귀환이 될
아마추어에서 이제 ASL 리거가 된 최초의 결승전체 저구왕조의 트로피를 이어받는
현 시점 가장 창의적이고 가장 공격적이고 가장 유연한 플레이를 보여주는
최고의 승률을 자랑하고 있는 진짜가 돌아왔어요.
생각에 딜레이가 없는 것 같이 움직여요.
압도적입니다. 5회 우승은 꿈이 아닌 것 같은 그런.
지금은 저의 세대입니다. 영호 형이 저한테 지는 그림이 그려져요.
원래 제자리였기 때문에 가져올 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
GSL Season 2.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the GSL Classic versus Zoun. Coming up next, a PvP to decide who will move on to the second-to-last place remaining here in the round of 8.
Yeah, one of these players is going to be advancing into the round of 4. Trying to decide who it's going to be. Classic looking pretty good so far in the first best of 3 versus Solar. I mean, he had a rough game number 1, but small mistakes happen, and in StarCraft 2, usually the smallest of mistakes be amplified to be something huge, like we saw in Map 1. But Map 2, Map 3 looked absolutely solid. Now we're going to decide who the stronger Protoss player is in this group.
Okay, I'm looking forward to this. Zoun and Classic have both had incredible years last year. Yeah, last year was very good for Protoss, by the way. To the point where people were kind of losing their minds.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Putting it mildly there.
Yeah. But, you know, PvP was an important matchup last year for how strong Protoss were. Sometimes some matchups it's like more important. Excuse me, it's more important than other matchups. Zoun actually could win this. Don't sleep on him. Classic probably slightly favored, but Zoun, yeah, again, an excellent PvP player, could come through here.
Yeah, I don't know the head-to-head scores between these two over the past year or so, but I honestly feel like Classic's PvP has always been really solid. It feels like he never loses PvP in the really dumb ways that Protoss players often lose PvPs.
Yeah.
And just being solid enough to not lose dumb games in PvP, even at the pro level, goes a very long way. So we'll see what Zoun has cooked up for this series as game number 1 is loading in. It's going to be Winter Madness to start things out. Classic versus Zoun.
All right. Let's do it, guys. Top left here is Classic. Bottom right is Zoun. And, you know, I've said this before in my cast recently, but I will say it again here now. One of the things I love about PvP is it's such a flavorful matchup. There is so many different ways, or I should say so many different build orders that have so many interactions that create for so many unique types of games. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys are going to approach it. This time around, both of them making their gateways on the high ground, although I don't think this is a great gateway on low ground map.
Yeah, it's not one of the maps with a high ground natural expansion, which is usually where you see players, irrespective of the way they feel about 1-gate expand, it's just such a good map. You have a high ground natural expansion that you will go for a 1-gate expand. The Winter Madness is not one of those. So instead have the double gas opening here with the gateway on the high ground for both players. Likely will both be throwing down a second gateway as well. And then after that, it's kind of a bit of a staring contest between the two of them, seeing if one of these players will be going for a 1-base play or if both players will be opting for a very slow build-up to an expansion.
Okay, so it's going to be double gateway on both sides. For now, the builds are mirroring each other. And we're going to have to wait and see, you know, when does this difference happen? Does it happen after the cybernetics core finishes? Is, you know, maybe one player goes for a sentry, the other goes for like 2 stalkers? Is it going to happen when the robo started? Oh, okay, hold on a second. So we have Classic hiding a pylon, which, by the way, this could be like something so crazy deceptive where he doesn't even use this, but Zoun's in the base going, oh, he's hiding a pylon, he must be hiding tech. So we'll see if he actually makes something here.
Yeah, both players obviously know that they need a second pylon at this stage in the game, so Zoun is keenly aware that there is a hidden pylon on the map, and that's why he's already scouting for it. He first checks behind the minerals in Classic's natural expansion. Now he's going down to the 3rd base. Unfortunately for Zoun, it's a Stargate proxied all the way in the top right corner. And so Zoun continues on this path, scouting the left side of the map. Might take him a little while to figure this out. That's actually one of the reasons why I think he's setting a second probe. He really wants to know what is happening.
Okay. He's still scouting around. Now, Stargate, I should say hidden, because this isn't really proxied. Stargate hidden versus Stargate in the main. This can go a lot of different ways. We got to see, is this going to get scouted? You know, a lot of times if you're both going Stargate, one guy should, you know, the player who has the information should try to go Phoenixes, right? Because you can just kind of overpower them. And it does force a Phoenix arms race. But, you know, if you start to lose control of the game, they can dominate where the Stargate is, the guy that has a Stargate inside of his main, right? So we'll see what happens. The Oracle starts for Classic.
Yeah, Zoun spots the Stargate just now on the top side of the map with his scouting probe. So he's aware of what's going on. He even saw the Oracle warping in. Yeah, Stargate's, I think, the only unit in StarCraft, or the only structure in StarCraft 2 where you could see the unit that's being built.
I believe that's true.
Besides maybe the mothership, if you want to really be pedantic, I guess there is an animation on the Nexus. So Zoun is going to be building a Phoenix knowing that there is an Oracle coming. And so Classic should get basically nothing done with this. I think the best play for Classic is to just dive into the main base, try and get as much damage done as possible, but realistically, oh, he's going to bank 2 Oracles. This is a huge commitment from Classic. The second Oracle might allow him to get like 2 or 3 probes in total.
This is really bad for Classic right now.
Yeah, you
know, he's going one base more and more. He's getting a robo here. The problem is first of all, Zoun scouted this. Second of all, Zoun got away, and so Classic doesn't know it's been scouted. So, like, you know, yes, he'll get some worker kills, but, like, you know, the Phoenixes are going to dominate. You know, 2 base lasting longer and longer in a game always beats 1 base. 1 base, you have to have some kind of power spike and win the game.
It's been long enough, though, that Zoun is a little bit confused about what's happening. He's moving the Phoenix away from the main base. They're now near the natural expansion. All 3 Phoenix are over there. And there's no wall in for the Adepts, so the Phoenix are now going to come back. This might be an opening for the Oracles to come in and actually get some damage done.
I think the Oracles need to turn around now.
Oh, they're still waiting. Classic sees the Phoenix.
So does he just wait, you know, maybe for the Phoenixes to come into his side of the map? Okay, at this point in time, Zoun's going to comb the map.
Is that in vision range? It is.
He sees it.
Oh, big grimace there from Classic. This is just a terrible feeling, losing at least 1 Oracle, likely going to be losing the second too.
Can he try to recall it in a corner before the Phoenixes get it?
I think the Phoenix kill the Oracle so fast that even if he recalls it right now, I'm pretty sure it goes down.
Phoenix is obviously moving shot so easy. Just right-click through there. So, I mean, now what? And actually, we saw Classic for a second, like, rub his face. Like, this is just not, this is not good. So he's going to take a later base. Now, there should be an opening here where Zoun can basically attack and probably win. We'll see if he takes that opportunity. I think he's going to first scout with the Phoenixes. I think he's going to see this. That's going to prompt him to move out.
Yeah, Mortal gets started here for Zoun. I'm not sure if we have a Twilight Council ready for Zoun just yet, but this would be an excellent angle to go into. Okay, he starts the Twilight Council. This would be excellent for him to go into something like an Adept Claves timing attack. It's not something you usually see at this level of pro play, although occasionally it will be mixed in with the builds. But I feel like in a position like this one where you just have a substantial advantage over your opponent, I mean, Classic investing into the hidden Stargate, investing into 2 Oracles, and finding no damage as a result, plus losing those 2 Adepts for, I think they didn't even get 1 or 2 probes. It was basically nothing found for Classic, and the expansion is later. If you get Glaives here, and he is going to go for Glaives, you can basically just muscle over your opponent because your position, your earlier position, is so much better. It's one of the ways to really leverage an advantage, even though it's not the best build. Classic will be hard-pressed, even if he knows it's coming, to actually stop this.
Yeah, I like the fast third. I think this is the only thing that you could do that would maybe win, is make a third base immediately and hope they don't attack in time. Yeah, I mean, Zoun's playing a slower game than I thought, but I guess a wind-up, a slow wind-up into an Adept attack is fine. So the Phoenixes are continuing to fly around here. He got 2 Adepts earlier, so, you know, he's just taking whatever he can get with kind of free wins here. I think he made the right choice by stopping Phoenixes, too. Once you kill the Oracles, it's not like you have to keep making Phoenixes the whole game. You basically muted any air strength they have.
The units lost tab must look ridiculous at this stage of the game.
Oh,
I'm not sure if we're going to get a shot at this, but I'm trying to think of the last unit that I saw Zoun lose, and it might have been the Scouting Probe, although that could have also just gotten back home. It could be that Zoun hasn't lost a single thing yet. If anything, maybe the Adepts were able to find a probe or 2 in the main base of Zoun, but it's really just been Zoun taking favorable trades with these 3 Phoenix basically non-stop. And so we actually have Classic also going into a depths with a Robotics Bay, which is very interesting. Usually you don't see the Robo Bay mixed in. Huh. I wonder if Classic is able to spot that it's Adepts, do you maybe even go Colossus here? They would do bonus damage versus the Adepts. Colossus is a unit you hardly ever see in PvP. It's much more likely to be Disruptors, but...
So here comes the push. And I don't usually cast like this, but this probably will just kill him.
Yeah, I think
this
so.
is supposed, I mean, the way this game's gone, it's been like L after L here for Classic. It all started when the probe scouted the Stargate. And, I mean, let's see how Classic micros this, but this is going to be rough, for sure. Phoenix is immediately here with the pickups, and there's no way to defend it because there's already so much. Yep, GG. There you go. No play-by-play for you guys, all right?
It's just, it's the easiest way to convert.
I go, this game's
like
over,
this.
and then he GG's, and I go, see? I told you.
You were right,
I told you he
Baseless.
was dead.
Now, whenever you have a gigantic lead like that one, but again, like Zoun, he picks up both the Oracles get nothing done, he picks up the Adepts get basically nothing done, he's able to pick off probes and other units with the Phoenix as well. I mean, everything just keeps compounding, and if you have that kind of discrepancy between one player and the next, which is even amplified by Zoun having a faster expansion than Classic, the best way to leverage that is to just go for a Glaive's timing attack, because already Glaive's timing attacks when things are even, they can be difficult to stop, but if one player has an overwhelming advantage the way that Zoun does, it's just the easiest way to convert it. Classic knows the moment he sees that Zoun has opted to go for the Glaive's timing attack, he just taps out.
10,000 feet is going to be map number 2 here. Zoun, a excellent PvP back there, but he did kind of, I mean, I guess you can't say get lucky because he scouted the hidden base, but that could not have gone better. Let's see what happens if Classic can get, his strategy activated and not detected early on here. Maybe that requires him to play more of a conservative game. We're going to find out because game 2 is ready.
All right, map number 2 loaded in. Match point here for Zoun. So we have Classic spawning as the blue Protoss, the bottom right corner of 10,000 feet. Zoun, the red Protoss in the top left. And Zoun being the first player to advance from this group would be a bit of an upset. Honestly. Yeah. I mean, Zoun had an excellent 2025. It looked like he kept getting better and better. I think he even took a really high stakes, maybe best of 5 or best of 7 series off of Serral that I'm remembering, where it felt like Zoun was one of the best Protoss players in the world, bar none. He was looking so good. And then kind of similar to Classic, both these players, it feels like they dropped off a little bit as we changed from the last iteration of StarCraft 2 into the latest patch. I'm not sure if it's exactly them trying to adjust into the meta, because they both still found success. Like, they've been in Code S every single season, they're performing well in the RSL and in online tournaments, but they raised the standard for themselves so high in 2025, and they haven't really been able to reach those same heights again here in 2026. But it would be very promising for Zoun to emerge victorious in first place in a group with Classic, GuMiho, and Solar as the opponents.
Okay. So we've got both sides going for the double gate. This is like the last game, right? I mean, we kind of already saw this. The question's going to be, where's the tech deviation? What kind of 2-gate game is it going to be? I don't imagine we're going to have Classic do the same thing again, right? I don't think so. But like I was saying before about PvP. Well, okay, hold on a second. Now this is a closer hidden pylon. It'd be so funny if you just literally made a Stargate again.
And Zoun scouts it.
And then Zoun scouts it, and then makes 3 Phoenixes, and then they both take 3 bases, and then the push happens, and I go, huh, okay. All because I just said this won't happen twice. Robo. Okay, I knew it. God, I'm good. So it's going to be a timing push here, either with Warp Prism or Immortal or both.
It's interesting to me that, the probe doesn't spot this.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's terrible here for Zoun. Because now it's going to be one of the last places that he checks on the map. The probe is basically already squared past this. There's no way he's going to double back and check. Oh, is he going to double back and check? Watching the probe on the map, he double backs and checks. That is crazy. Wow. All right, keen movement there by Zoun, and once more he's going to be responding with a Stargate.
I hate it when they find it right before it finishes. I'm like, well, time to do my rush and lose.
I'm actually very surprised that Zoun moves forward with a probe like this, because when a structure like a robotics facility is warping in, the vision is less than when it's completed.
Yeah.
And so I was almost certain that Zoun was just going to be...
By the way, this is the right move. Always put the second pylon here.
Yeah. I really did think the better play for Zoun might be just to let this finish and not let Classic know that you know.
This is crazy. You need to get out of here. There's going to be an Immortal that's going to kill your Stalker's run.
Zoun really testing the waters right now. Immortal about to pop. I guess one of the advantages of this is it makes it harder for Classic to actually go into a Warp Prism first, you know, and having two Stalkers right there in the front line, you really got to go for the Immortal.
Yeah.
And Zoun's going to be responding once more with Phoenix. I thought this might be a Voider angle, but instead the Phoenix, again, going to be the defending option here for Zoun.
Okay. He is going to go with that Warp Prism. And I mean, this is going to be... It won't be easy for Zoun to hold up, but I mean, if he was going to hold it off, the situation he's in where he sees this coming is about as good as it could be. 3-gate with the Warp Prism.
And it should mostly be Stalkers warping in after that.
Yeah.
Warp Prism is
all
done.
Stalkers. Now, the thing is, Zoun's going 3-gate himself, and there's no, like, expansion to push, right? So, by the way, we could get into a game where this just kind of normalizes. Just because it's a proxy and just because it's a strong rush doesn't actually mean he has to do it, because there's no target to rush, right?
Now, what do you think about this, Tasteless? Zoun has actually moved outside of his base. I think he's still expecting an attack to come, but he wants to jump on it at the top of this ramp, and this might really catch Classic by surprise.
I think he wants to hit the Warp Prism. I think this is one of these things where you kill the Warp Prism and you're fine. Okay, so he's going to see it. Now he's going to go for a flank here.
Oh, he might just be going into the base of Classic.
Oh my god, I actually love this.
Classic has no idea, by the way. There is no vision here for Classic.
So he's like, okay, I'm going to try to edge in here.
I say that. There's actually an observer. It might have spotted this. I'm not sure, but Classic certainly will know now as the Stalkers are running up into the main base.
No pylon block. Okay, so he needs to kill off as many probes as possible. Oh my god, he's so nasty. Okay, so he's going to... Oh my god. Okay, this is so bad for Classic. This is so bad. I like the idea there. The problem is that all the probes are going to be killed, and then you can just recall back home. So as long as Zoun holds this, he wins the game, basically. He's going to try to kill the Nexus. Wait, is he going to kill the core? Yeah, just go back home. Just go back home. Keep it easy.
Here's the recall. Probes getting pulled right now for Zoun. Good force field by Classic, going to make it hard for the probes to get on top of this, but the Phoenix neutralizing the Immortal, it seems like there's just a little bit too much here for Zoun. There are still 2 lifts available. The probes of Classic are pulled in here on the front line, but Zoun just has way too much, Tasteless.
Yeah. This is over. Classic has lost. Zoun 2-0. And by the way, I mean, masterclass PvP. I love the run by. I love what he did where he kind of had the Phoenixes making Classic be careful. Classic's kind of like juking and jiving and trying to get ready to do his push. And then Zoun just runs up into the main, kills all the workers, and recalls back home. I mean, perfect hold there.
Very well done by Zoun. And look how happy he is, man. He's been all smiles. First place in this group. I think he didn't even drop a map advancing from Group B. And this is a tough group for him.
I mean, he murdered. He played incredibly.
Yeah, well, that was really exciting. I'm going to be excited to hear from Zoun once we hop into an interview. But the first player to advance from a very stacked Group B here with Classic, GuMiho, Zoun, and Solar is, in fact, going to be Zoun. And he's going to be heading into what is basically a group of death in the round of 8.
It's going to be a very scary group for him. But he's in good shape. He played really well. Classic kind of going for some cheesy plays there. And both times, Zoun actually scouts it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Classic went for aggressive plays both in Game 1 and in Game 2. You know, you kind of expect him to mix one of these builds in at least one of the maps over the course of the series. Anyway, folks, the interview is ready. Let's hear from Zoun. All right, Zoun, well, congratulations on your victory. First place here in Group B. Now, I want to ask you, it feels like in 2025, you were looking so good. Like one of the best Protoss players in the world. You were winning incredible series. It's been kind of quiet for you since then, but your performance today was just spectacular. You didn't even drop a map. Do you feel like you're catching back that form from last year?
일단 박한 선수 1등 진출 축하드리고요. 첫 번째 질문은 사실 작년에 되게 좋은 활약을 펼쳐줬는데 올해는 조금 작년에 비해서 다소 아쉬운 부분이 좀 있었어요. 그래서 이번에는 또 마침 무패로 이렇게 또 올라갔기 때문에 좀 다시 돌아온 기분이 드시는지 좀 요즘 퍼포먼스에 대해서 좀 어떻게 평가하는지 궁금합니다.
일단 들리죠? 네. 일단 도호 형을 이겨서 굉장히 기쁘고 오늘 아침에 일어나면서 좀 컨디션이 진짜 베스트였어가지고 이제 질 거라는 생각은 안 했지만 제가 도호 형한테 여태껏 많이 졌기 때문에 불안한 면도 있었지만 오늘 결과가 이렇게 나타나서 좋았고 작년에 실력은 비슷하다고 생각을 하는데 이게 좀 EWC가 없다 보니까 좀 꺾인 게 좀 컸지 않았나 싶습니다.
Yeah, I mean, my overall form was actually good, but I had confidence. But that being said, I actually didn't win that much against Classic before. So yeah, that was the only point I had the anxiety. But yeah, I think I managed it well. And overall, performance-wise, I think I'm kind of similar with the last year, but the only minus factor is the demotivation with lack of EWC. So I think that was the deciding factor.
What are your expectations going into the next group, and how far do you think you can get in this season of GSL?
이제 8강에 또 올라가게 되신 만큼 8강에서의 또 활약이 기대가 되는데요. 좀 어떤 모습을 좀 기대하실 수 있을지 궁금합니다.
저번 시즌에는 이제 8강에서 막혔는데 제가 못해서 막혔다고 생각을 하거든요. 그래서 이번에는 좀 실수를 안 하고 약간 준비를 더 잘 해와서 8강 뚫도록 하겠습니다. 그리고 오늘 도호 형을 이긴 1등 공신이 있는데 이기게 해준 트리거 선수가 많이 알려줘가지고 트리거 선수한테 정말 고맙다고 전하고 싶습니다.
Yeah, last season I definitely disappointed. I was definitely disappointed with my performance. I think that was I was just underperformed. So that being said, I'm going to prepare well to break it out. But I want to make a shout out to Trigger for preparing this match against Classic. So yeah, thank you, Trigger.
All right, congratulations on advancing.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. Thank you.
I was like a nervous girl there. I was like, well,
I don't know what to say.
Wow, yeah.
You were so good today,
like,
Zoun.
yeah,
You didn't drop a single map. That was
I
perfect.
was like, you're amazing. So there we go. Zoun moves on. And now we are going to go into the losers match coming up here.
Yeah, big shout out to Trigger as well for helping him practice. Anyway, folks, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, the elimination match between Solar and GuMiho. We'll see you soon.
I know that you're longing for a little change. A bit of something different in a different place. Somewhere the grass is greener. Call it a spiritual healer. I hear you, darling, I feel ya.
GSL Season 2.
Hello, welcome back, everybody. Solar and GuMiho coming up next. Man, that was a short series. Classic versus Zoun. Zoun just dominating and moving on to the round of 8.
Yeah, Classic trying some tricky tactics in Game 1 and in Game 2, and Zoun just perfectly parrying both builds. Even by PvP standards, that was one of the faster series you're ever going to see. And so now, Zoun, the first player advancing, and that means one of Solar, GuMiho, and Classic will remain in the round of 8. But first, we're going to have to eliminate one of these players, Solar or GuMiho, battling out in a best of 3. And I really don't know what this series is going to look like, especially on GuMiho's side of things. This is a player who loves to mix in mech builds, loves to play really off the beaten path in terms of TVZ. I'm expecting it to be over relatively quickly just because I feel like that's usually the way the GuMiho's games go, whether he wins or loses. I feel like his tactics are kind of, they're so obscure that usually just creates these really big differences between where both players are at, and that just leads to one player falling earlier than you might expect. But it'll be fun to watch Solar trying to deal with whatever it is GuMiho has cooked up.
Yeah, I do think Solar a little bit favored here. But let's see what GuMiho does. GuMiho, I think, honestly had some bad ideas in the TVP that we saw. Like, just didn't, I don't know. You know, definitely a kind of GuMiho look where it's like, 3 Marauder drop. I'm like, all right, well, that's, you're the only guy who's going to do that, you know? But, you know, he's got a decent TVZ. He always has. We'll see if he goes mech or not, and whether it's battle mech or not. Anyways, guys, this game has loaded up. Solar versus GuMiho, a fight to survive in this GSL.
All right, Solar spawning in the top right as the blue Zerg. GuMiho, the red Terran, in the bottom left. One of these players is going to be eliminated from GSL right now. One of them will be advancing to face Classic, of all people, the final match of Group B.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. GuMiho, by the way, I thought he looked fine last year. It's interesting to see he's kind of been struggling this time around. Okay, so yeah, let's see what kind of TVZ we're going to have. GuMiho going to go with the Barracks. No CC first this time around.
Yeah, Barracks on the high ground as well, so no Byunwall in with early Reapers here from GuMiho. And mostly in this early game, I'll be watching the production tab to see what it is that GuMiho is going to be going for. So far, it seems like about as standard as you possibly can. Just a one-gas opening here, likely leading into the command center. But once the factory gets started, I feel like that's usually when you see GuMiho really start to widen the breadth of what he's capable of in terms of different build orders. Like in game number 1, going for, after the factory, 3 Marauders and trying to drop those with the medevac. I kind of almost wish that we get a GuMiho versus Classic match coming in here, just so we can see GuMiho dip back into the well for that build again. Because I wanna see the 3 Marauder build play out in a successful way. I'm not sure what it was angling up for.
Yeah,
you know?
it just seems like it's set up to punish something, and I didn't understand what it was. And look, that happens sometimes. Sometimes you think you've got a read on a game, and you're trying to do something, and you're like, oh, well, this is, never mind. You know, now we're in a very, very weird position. So, you know, from what we've seen here, TVZ, by the way, can go on for a long time. Again, I don't know if GuMiho's going to bring us that kind of game. If you're going to get a long, long game, both players have to kind of commit to it, right? Solar in general has also been a pretty active player. You know, he likes to take fights here. We are seeing the real emergence of popularity of Roach Ravager into Ultralisk tech, into like Ultralisk armor. Basically, it's like a base buster. You kind of, even if Terran's trying to just turtle and go for exhaust play, you kind of crack him open. And we'll see if that happens this time around. But, you know, Solar, again, he's I guess I'm more thinking of Shin for doing this, but Solar's always liked to go Roach Ravager against Terran.
Yeah, Solar's another one of these certain players who loves to get aggressive in the early and mid game, and he certainly is capable of playing a late game should GuMiho try to go for the exhaust style. I just don't feel like that's the direction GuMiho will take the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine being wrong with it if that's the case, but yeah, I kind of agree with you. I'm like, I don't think he's going to do that. And certainly, you know, you know, the series we saw that he played earlier in the TVP, like he really kind of wanted to end it.
All right, we have a 4 Marine move out coming in here by GuMiho.
Yeah, and the Lair and the Roach Warren have started. This is before the 3rd hatchery, so that's a very early Roach Warren. We could see if it's going to be, you know, like 7 Roach, you know, rush to come in here and kill SCVs and kind of slow the Terran down, or is it going to be full-on Roach Ravager? He's going to get 2 more gases.
Yeah, might even take the 3rd gas in the main base pretty soon here. It's interesting that we're seeing a lot more 2-base Lair play in TVZ here in the GSL.
Yeah, no, it's become a lot more popular.
All right, 6 Marines now showing up in the natural expansion. Kind of a funny timing, and this is catching Solar massively off guard. The first Queen very low on HP right now. The Hellions are likely to go to the top side and try and clean that up.
The thing is, he hasn't actually lost anything yet. Like, his control's been so good. He's killed 3 drones. I almost can't even believe how few drones have been killed. Now, I think the damage is going to finally pile on here.
I mean, it's only been 4 drones, but how many Queens have fallen? At least 2 of them already. This one's deep in the red. And I think this is a very good trade here for GuMiho. And these units are almost a throwaway number of units, right? It was 6 Marines and 2 Hellions heading there into the natural expansion. They got a lot of value done.
Yeah, unusual timing there for sure. Hitting pretty hard. We've got the Viking out. This is just to clear the Overlords and basically darken the map here for the Zerg. Zerg, by the way, not on 3 bases still. Kind of recuperating after that attack came in there and did that damage.
Oh, and Overlord speed is getting researched. I wonder if we might have Queens getting shuttled over to the Terran base with a ton of roaches. It seems like that's the play.
Yeah, I think he's just going to do a 2-base timing.
Yeah, the Viking is really good versus this because I suppose you could just be using Overlord speed to try and keep your Overlord safe from the Viking, but no, there it is. Drop Overlord getting morphed in right now. Where is that drop Overlord morphing in? Okay, right in the front. I don't think the Viking actually caught a glimpse of that, so GuMiho might still be in the dark about what the build is. But the Viking is one of these units that it should catch wind very quickly of what Solar is going for, and it might even put a timer on this Overlord with the 2 Queens in it. Although GuMiho, I'm not sure he's aware just yet, Tasteless.
Yeah, God, I mean, if he was, he'd have 2 more bunkers making. How is it possible this is being thread? Okay, so now he should know. Okay, so he's going to start the depot wall. Oh my God. Okay, I think he could actually bring this even closer, the Queens over here. He might have unloaded that a little bit too soon. Nice shutdown of the counter.
Hellions trying to find some damage in the main base, but the main story is going to be the push coming into the natural expansion here of GuMiho. 1 more Ravager morphing in here on the front line. GuMiho repositioned the siege tank to the back line to provide a little bit more distance.
So
in the biles.
Tank placement's probably the most important part of this. You want to have the tank be able to hit the Ravager, and the Ravager can't bile the tank. It's 3 biles to kill a tank. And so there's kind of this zoning play. I love the gooping on the factory. That is exactly what you want to do. And I mean, he's making drones back at home, so I think he's going to have to try to go for it. Is he going to not go for it? Has he decided this is just not enough?
I think the defensive positioning of GuMiho is just a little bit too good.
Honestly, I respect this. I think I mean, you know, even though the rush has basically failed, he's like, well, I'm not going to just throw my units away. Let's try to make this work. It also slows down taking the 3rd base, which is pretty good. The Queens are still in the drop Overlord.
Solar's still trying to spread creep with them, which is a very funny little interaction, but I'm a little bit worried about this upcoming timing here for GuMiho. I feel like Solar, you know, you invest so much army early and then you make a big transition, adding in a lot of drones, going for a hive tech, adding in infestors, and now you're a little bit vulnerable to the counterpunch coming in by GuMiho.
Okay, he's going to come in here. And I'm not sure if Solar's going to survive this either. This is looking pretty rough. Remember, the third base only just started to kick in, right? There's not enough Ravagers to buy all the tanks down either. I think this could end. Now, GuMiho's got to be careful. He did this in the previous game where he gets way too far away from his tanks. But I guess if you don't go for the tanks at all, it doesn't really matter.
Bungles connect, but there isn't a lot of units on the ground here for Solar to capitalize on it. The Siege Tank's actually unsieged, cleaning up the Queens and the Roaches. Get entrenched again. This third base is certainly going to fall, I think. I mean, maybe Solar can trickle out enough units, but no, GG is called. GuMiho winning game number 1. Really a nice hold of Solar's attempted push.
Yeah, well, whether he went for it or not, like, that's just, like, if you know, again, I said earlier, and I did mean it, like, I respect him not going in because he's like, oh, this is not going to work. But, like, you're still probably boned. You can't invest in drop, fly Queens across the map after losing a couple drones and Queens, and then, like, you know, go be like, all right, macro game.
Yeah, the way that you switched gears and just immediately made a bunch of drones, threw down the infestation pit, started a hive, and was likely going to be trying to rush out Ultralisks. GuMiho was a little bit too robust for that. The counterpunch was enough to just sever the position of Solar so quickly. The third hatch falls. GuMiho takes game number 1. Kind of an interesting way, too. I mean, I'm thinking back to the, what was it, 6 or 8 Marines, the 2 Hellions, where GuMiho pushed out super early onto the natural expansion of Solar. I feel like that was a big momentum-building move here for GuMiho. I wonder if he's going to have another trick like that in map number 2, as Mothership is loading in. The only 3-player map that we have here in the GSL Code S pool, as Solar is fighting for his life.
Yeah, I hope Solar can bring a better game here. He's basically just been like, like trafficking Queens over to the other side of the map with timing attacks and then failing. Like, he's had a really rough go of things. GuMiho's little kind of awkward timing actually working out really nicely, kind of getting in there and getting some damage done. I thought Solar's control, by the way, was god tier while he was trying to fight it. I think a lot of players would have lost a lot more. Anyways, we're going to be on the map Mothership for this game. GuMiho, you know, bringing the aggro and making it work. I get a little bit scared, by the way. I've noticed this with GuMiho. He seems to be way all over the place with his pushes. He, like, sieges up and then runs away from his tanks. And I do feel like if you're going to, a better Terran player kind of, everything kind of expands and collapses together in a push. You got to know how to push out, stem, hit stuff, and then the moment they get close to you, run back. But he seemed to kind of, and the reality is it didn't matter, by the way, because Solar was so behind. Like, he's going to die to the push no matter what. But his pushes have seemed sloppy. In the TVPs, he kind of like YOLO'd onto the Nexus and didn't protect his tanks. And he sort of did that with Solar again. And the only reason why I'm bringing it up is, like, if Solar plays a normal game where he's more viable to hold a push, I'm wondering if GuMiho can actually make it work.
Yeah, GuMiho's been very aggressive with the bio portion of his siege tank pushes, both in the TVPs that he played and the TVZs. So it is something to look out for here in game number 2. As we might eventually culminate in something like that later on. Anyway, here in the early game, GuMiho is going for a command center first opening, and Solar actually going to get the first scout on this with the Overlords. So, bit of fortunate scouting pattern here with the Overlords for Solar.
Yeah, this is our only 3 spawn map. I'm glad we have this in the pool. I feel like for a long time we only had 2 spawn maps, and I'm like, let's get it a little bit weirder. You know what I mean? I also wanted to put this idea out for the whole StarCraft scene to think about. Do we want to have maps where there's less buildable terrain on it to make proxies harder, or not?
Yeah.
Even if it was like 20% more, or 20% more unbuildable terrain.
Maybe. It's always, I tried playing Brood War some time ago, and that was one of the most unintuitive things for me as a new player to come in and be like, I'm going to proxy gateway over here, ha ha ha, and then I can't build a gateway.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest feeling.
I only thought about this because I'm casting ASL and GSL and RSL at the same time, and I was like, oh yeah, you can build anywhere in StarCraft 2, basically. StarCraft 1, like, you can build in some places, but, like, you have to know where it is, and, like, there's places people can check for it. And you can still hide a bait. They can still check for something, and you hide it in, like, a better hiding spot, you know? Yeah, I just wanted to put that idea out there. Would that make it more interesting? Would it make it less interesting?
I've even seen some discussion. I'm not sure if it was actually map makers having this discussion, or if it was mostly community members, but particularly when Zerg isn't doing well in the pool, I've seen chats about whether there should be like a neutral creep tumor somewhere on the map or something like that, which is kind of an interesting idea.
I think any of these ideas are worth trying, right?
I'm all in favor of maps getting more and more weird as StarCraft 2 gets on. I already like the addition of worker-only paths that we've had in StarCraft 2 recently. The healing zones, I'm not as big a fan of the healing zones, but they've led to some pretty funny situations, so it does feel like map makers keep getting better. I will say that. The map pool nowadays, I mean, it's just eons ahead of what we had years ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the best part about RTS is the fact that we could make crazy stuff with the maps. Even doing, you know, I like crazy stuff. I also just like, you know, like for instance, this is a 3-player map. That's great. Or, you know, this map, it's got more narrow areas. Or this one, it's more wide open, you know. And it's why the game can always stay fresh, you know. And if we think there's like some problem with the matchups or some problem with the game, okay, well, let's reconfigure the base layouts or how far apart you are or how close you are or whatever it is. By the way, this game, a lot more in the realm of standard. It's going to be a 3rd command center landing very quickly, by the way, into standard bio. Although there is going to be a Banshee tech in here after the Raven, by the way. Raven into Banshee tech.
Yeah, it's been about as quiet a game as you could possibly get here in the early stages. CC first, adding in a bunch of Hellions here as GuMiho, and now he's developing more normally with the added engineering base, more barracks coming through. GuMiho's also been very passive with these Hellions. He hasn't yet tried to move out on the map to find damage, although now with a Raven out, I would be surprised if he didn't at least try to clean up some of this creep, which Solar's been spreading in the center. And then on Solar's side of things, the Spire just finished up, or the Lair just finished up, and we are starting a Spire. So we're going towards a Mutiling Bane style here for Solar. The players are beginning their first meaningful interactions here in the center of the map. So GuMiho able to snipe out at least one of those tumors. But the Spire might catch him off guard. The barracks are coming online very late here for GuMiho. It's currently only 5 Marines. So you have to be a little bit careful about this position here as Terran. You know, Hellions, Banshees, these are units that are not going to fare very well versus the first flock of mutas.
Yeah, the whole Terran core army starts up a little bit later because you invest in the Hellions, because you went for the Raven, as well as the Banshee. You know, there is something to, I don't think I've talked about this in a while, but like coming in with Banshees later, where like you're like, oh, well, we're past the point where this would happen, right? And hitting in a moment where like, you know, the player's completely unprepared. By the way, expansion layout for Zerg on this map, you can always expand towards the other main. And it's pretty hard for Terran to push. This is actually kind of a sucky map for Terran when it comes time to push. You know, you eventually want to have a target that's easier to hit.
Yeah, there's also a lot of attack paths at the center, which makes it easier for Zerg to try and find angles where they can get a flank set up. And also makes this Mutiling Bailing style quite popular. We've seen a couple of games with this style deployed here on Mothership so far in this GSL Code S and last season. So now the first mutas are out. We have 8 of them on the top side of the map. I'm not sure if more are getting added in just now, or if instead Solar is focusing on getting Banelings and Lings out to deal with the Hellions attacks. And this is the first time GuMiho is getting a good look at the mutas. He catches them right before they head into the natural expansion. Now a lot of SCVs are falling. 1-1 will finish here for GuMiho. That's going to assist these Marines, which so far don't even have combat shields ready. So they're quite low on HP, actually, with a second stim.
Yeah, gotta be careful. He is gonna drive the mutas out. All the upgrades are gonna finish over here. I love the pickup. Oh my God, he's gonna run with the Hellions. Nice. I don't know about the auto turret, but that was pretty good. I mean, he didn't lose anything.
Well done by GuMiho holding on. Honestly, the first flock getting just 9 SCV kills, it might seem like a lot of SCVs because it kind of is, but the fact that this came in blind to GuMiho and he only lost 9, I think is a very good thing right now for his position.
By the way, the push is gonna come out. The Banelings were softened up. I don't know about the second auto turret there either. I don't know about this. I feel like this, we'll see if it impacts this at all. By the way, Terran pushes here. He's morphing more Banes. He's gonna scan and see that. Does he try to push into the Banes or not? All right, here we go. Oh my God, GuMiho, why are you not microing? All right, the hatchery goes down.
Fifth hatchery going to fall here for Solar. Bermudas look to see if they can find any of these reinforcements to catch, and then think better of it. They're going to be rejoining the forces here for Solar. And fortunately for Solar, these rocks are still standing in front of the 5th base. His Lings actually didn't get to work on this earlier, so it's very difficult to dislodge GuMiho from this position. Solar is kind of waiting until GuMiho walks back himself.
The reinforcements haven't come yet. Zerg has to decide, do I hit this now? By the way, Terran's trying to get back home, which I think is probably a smart move, but I don't know that he's going to get away with it. He picks him up like Bunny would do. And I got to say, that was a big win. That was a big W there for Terran. He got in and he literally got back out. Very rare to see that ever. And, you know, again, it's 3 base to 4 base. Zerg has not gotten that critical 5th base up that really kind of powers your late game. As long as Zerg is on 4 bases, they're not really where they need to be yet.
And GuMiho, I think, is still ramping up to go for another push. He's just being very careful about the way he gets there. I don't even think we have a 4th command center for Terran just yet, unless I'm mistaken. I think this is a proper 8-Rax build coming in from GuMiho. He's trying to end the game as quickly as possible. And so GuMiho right now, he has 1 force in the center of the map, and then the reinforcements have been accumulating here in the natural. GuMiho, he sees this, he stims. That's going to force Solar to disengage. That's a lot of, I mean, this is so many Marines that we have here for GuMiho. And the fact that he was able to repel this counterattack attempt of Solar means that GuMiho might start getting a little bit more aggressive with the forward force that he has.
All right, he's going to morph some more down here. Kind of, what is going on with the rallies? He doesn't have stuff rallied out of his main?
GuMiho, you mean?
Yeah.
I think he's just afraid of the counterattack potential here with
okay. Well, this is pretty good. The mutas are going to come in here. What is going on with this army down in the bottom left? It's just sitting there on creep. It can be seen.
Infantry weapons gets to 9. Luckily for GuMiho, that had just begun, so if he wants, he could cancel.
He's got Hellbats here. And I'm not so sure about this here for Solar. I mean, this base is going to go down.
And this is only like half of GuMiho's army, too. GuMiho is so powerful right now. That's so many reinforcements streaming across the map. 92 Marines. Marines are being produced 13 at a time. And now the walls are starting to close in here for Solar. Solar with the Mutalisk is able to at least pick off one of these siege tanks. It's reinforcing, but all right, the big break coming through right now for Solar. Is charging with the banelings on creep. Able to get good connections onto these Marines. The siege tanks also lapped up. But the reinforcements for GuMiho are going to be a big problem. There's still a lot of Marines standing here, Tasteless.
Yeah, he's going to try to push it again. And I think this could be the end. We got to see if these banelings are going to finish and if they can connect to their targets. There's so many Marines here, even some unloading from this medevac. The base is so low. I think he's got enough. Yeah, well, hold on. Reinforcements are coming here. Whenever you see Lings and Mutas running away and there's still a huge amount of Marines, that's probably going to be, you know, a failed stopping the push. He's going to come in again. He kind of corners himself here.
Oh, Solar going for the fight right now, transfusing these Mutas, but there's just too many Marines, especially with the 2-2 upgrades coming through.
Oh, yeah, you can see a big sigh from Solar. He realizes this is probably the end. One of the worst runs in a GSL he's had. GG. GuMiho survives, and now he is going to have to redeem himself in the matchup TVP. I love these guys closing the Discord video right there. I just love it. They go, I lost. They just hang up the call.
Yeah.
Turn the camera off. I don't want to be on camera.
A bit of a frustrating moment, I think, here for Solar. I think we all know that he's capable of a much better performance than this, but yeah, 2-1 versus Classic, and then GuMiho honestly playing out of his mind at that TBZ. I will say that GuMiho's Terran versus Zerg looks really good from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, that was also, honestly, Solar looking pretty bad today. A rough run here for him. GuMiho's going to have his match against Classic guys after the short break.
that you're longing for a little change. A bit of something different in a different place. Somewhere the grass is greener. Call it a spiritual healer. I hear you, darling, I feel ya. Me and you, there's nothing we can't do together. Come on, let's go fly away. Find a beautiful escape. With the wind on our backs, we'll be going so fast. There's no need to be afraid. Come on, let's go fly away now. Come on, let's go fly away. I never feel lost even in the unknown. 'Cause when I'm with you, yeah, it feels like home. Feels like home. Me and you, there's nothing we can do together. Come on, let's go fly away. Find a beautiful escape. With the wind on our backs, we'll be going so fast. There's no need to be afraid. Come on, let's go fly away now. Come on, let's go fly away.
이, 3타를 우승을 하고 그 다음 시즌에는 준우승, 왕의 귀환, 또 신의 귀환이 될
아마추어에서 이제 ASL 리거가 된 최초의 결승전체 저구왕조의 트로피를 이어받는
현 시점 가장 창의적이고 가장 공격적이고 가장 유연한 플레이를 보여주는
최고의 승률을 자랑하고 있는 진짜가 돌아왔어요.
생각에 딜레이가 없는 것 같이 움직여요.
압도적입니다. 5회 우승은 꿈이 아닌 것 같은 그런.
지금은 저의 세대입니다. 영호 형이 저한테 주는 그림이 그려져요.
원래 제자리였기 때문에 가져올 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
GSL Season 2.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's time for the final match in the round of 12. Classic versus GuMiho. These are the two players remaining. Classic with an absolutely extraordinary performance so far. GuMiho looking weak, TVP. We'll see if that changes in this game, but right now I think anybody who's looking at this matchup is probably thinking Classic should be the favorite, right?
Yeah, GuMiho had a rough go of things versus Zoun earlier on today. Now, he looked very good versus Solar in that TVZ, but TVZ and TVP are distinctly different matchups. And, you know, I honestly put Classic at a level above Zoun in PBT, and Zoun just dealt with the timing attacks that GuMiho threw at him so easily. And I'm really hoping, heading into this series, GuMiho is going to come in with something a little bit different to try and take down Classic, because if he delivers the same builds, the same strategies that we saw him execute versus Zoun, I do not see a way that he's going to be taking down Classic.
Yeah, also, Classic is kind of the guy that was at the forefront of that, like, mass expanding PvT style, right? Like I was saying before, it's like a StarCraft 1 PvT where Protoss gets to be like Zerg and, like, take the whole map. Can GuMiho actually, like, do what Cure does and kind of, like, let Protoss take the whole map and then almost be so teched out that it doesn't matter how many resources Protoss has? Does GuMiho try to go for a fast kill here? Again, against Classic. Classic's kind of like the best at defending PvT, I think, out of the whole lot of Protosses.
Yeah, Classic's capable of doing anything. He can't go for timing attacks, he can't play the macro game, but I think what he's most famous for is just his defense. It's usually rock solid. And the fact that Zoun was able to deal with the pushes of GuMiho so well, so early, when GuMiho went for those siege tank pushes especially, yeah, I think that there needs to be some kind of mix-up coming in here by GuMiho, and maybe that's trying to get, like, a little bit more harassment done with some really quirky openings. Maybe not necessarily the 3 Marauder drop that we had earlier on with GuMiho in game number 1 versus Zoun, but if we mix in like some Banshees or some Liberators or just something to get economic damage done, maybe like a proxy starport, elevators, some Hellions in the main base. There are so many ways to skin a cat. GuMiho just has to find the way that works versus Classic.
Yeah, if he does the 3 Marauder drop, I want to see it work.
Yes.
I want to understand it. Yeah, I mean, you know, Classic, I don't expect him to do crazy anything. I feel like his PvT, you play pretty vanilla if you're him, right? I think, you know, especially when you think one player is clearly better than the other. There's not a whole lot you have to do other than kind of go through your build order and you know, keep up with the pace of macro and everything like that. Guys, we're ready to go into this final best of 3 and what's been a very short day of GSL. We were just talking about how all the GSL days are way longer than the RSL days, but this is more of an RSL day, it feels like. Don't know why that is, the same format and everything. Anyways, so we have the probe going across the map right away to see, you know, where the barracks is, or, you know, is the barracks not in the main in this case.
It's a very early risk scout here for Classic. The moment the game begins, pulls one of the first 12 probes, and he's actually going to get a glimpse of this SCV. Usually when you see an early SCV like this, it's going to be for an engineering bay block at the natural expansion, but this time it's actually a Makarax coming in here from GuMiho. He's hiding a barracks very close to the main base, but it's mostly just there to kind of obscure what it is that Terran is going for.
Yeah, so a lot of times Protoss will look at this and go, oh boy, all right, I'm getting rushed. Let's get ready to stop this, when in fact it's a pretty normal build. Makarax. I think, by the way, Maka Prime, that's like probably the guy we still reference.
Yeah.
That from the oldest period of StarCraft 2.
You know, it's funny too because with
Pre-Kespa players switching over and everything.
With so many SCV pulls, you would think that bit by bit would get a little bit more, a little bit more love, right?
Yeah.
That was the guy who really revolutionized the SCV pull, but we don't see it too often. Anyway, Classic now going for the scout. He's trying to find the barracks because this could possibly be a proxy 1-1-1. It could possibly be a proxy 2-Rex Marauder, and he will eventually find the racks right outside the natural expansion here from GuMiho. GuMiho, he's not doing anything crazy behind this. It is a 2-gas opening, so there will be a factory follow-up. And Classic's going to expect that, having seen both gases. But now Classic knows that there isn't some insane curveball heading his way.
Yeah. Now, we don't know what kind of TVP this is still going to be here from GuMiho. It's going to take a little while to see. Again, I expect Classic to just be kind of doing that macro style. I think that's smart. And I think he's still probably the best at this in the whole world. Just kind of taking the whole map. By the way, there was sort of this panic in the whole StarCraft 2 scene when Protoss started to do this. And I was kind of making fun of it. And I get where they're coming from, where it's like, well, can you not kill Protoss? You know what I mean? But it is interesting to see that the Terrans do seem to have come up with a solution. We've had a lot of Terrans win with the base trade after the Protoss is on something like 9 bases, literally.
Yeah, there are a lot of sacrifices that are made if you go for that kind of style of PvT. Your army's just not going to be as refined as it could be, but even in the best of cases, it's pretty hard for Protoss to play a perfect late game if Terran and Protoss are able to, just fully reach their potential as races in this game, because Terran can just have so much more army supply than Protoss.
Yeah.
In any case, the mid game, it does seem quite tough for Terran players still. It is often the early pressure that sets the tone in TVP. Can he get economic damage done? Well, then he might be able to end the game early. Otherwise, it does feel like the Cure-esque exhaust play does seem to be the way. And by the way, look at this. Classic is holding the line of sight. Okay, he's going to spot the Reapers and the Hellions. Classic is only just now seeing this. And actually, we don't have a reaction just yet. Is there even a recall or anything? No. The Reapers and Hellions coming into the natural expansion. I think that Classic just missed this.
This is so bad. You can't lose this many probes early on.
Oh, there isn't even a recall. I'm not sure. We don't have the energy for a recall. There's no units to actually deal with this push. The 2 Stalkers and 1 Adept, the only units that Classic has on the map. They're heading for a counterattack at GuMiho's natural expansion.
This isn't going to work.
5 probes have already fallen. GuMiho is doing the very safe thing, going for the pylon, because he has no idea where the Protoss army is, and the 2 Widow Mines! Oh my goodness, this is the perfect start for GuMiho.
I can't believe how badly this game has gone for Classic. I actually don't think we've had a game like this in years in GSL, where it's like, how bad can it be? Like, it's almost comical, like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Classic's having a hard time, and like the map 1 of every single series that he's played so far today just has not gone his way. I'm not sure what it is, but GuMiho just getting huge damage done. Terran right now with a 5-worker lead over Protoss. Protoss has an army supply of 6. Of 6. Medevac and 2 Widow Mines, that's also 6 army supply. This is, it's ridiculous what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, GuMiho kind of messed up there. Should have dropped that behind the mineral patch. Okay. GuMiho actually...
Oh my god. 13 probes. Oh my god. Say GG, just say GG.
It's okay, it's okay. If you leave now, here's the thing, if you leave now, no one can judge you for that. Well, we'll judge you a little bit.
20 probes. Look at this, he just lost. It's like 10x.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think you could just go across the map and kill him, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, GuMiho, this is like, you've just been gifted the golden goose in this game.
Yeah.
Like, you really want to take any risks. Like, it's a guaranteed win if you just wait until Stim and +1 infantry weapons are done and you move across the map. And so one thing we see GuMiho doing right now, which is really smart, is he's just making sure that he safe is absolutely everything. He's throwing down a missile turret in the natural expansion at a timing where you typically wouldn't see a missile turret placed in the natural expansion, because he's just going through a flowchart in his head like, okay, what could I possibly lose to? What could cause some problems? DCs could be an issue. That is what Classic is going for. So we just have a proactively built missile turret.
I think the DTs is smart.
Oh yeah, you got to go for something here, right?
You got to make it weird. Uh-oh, not like this though. I don't know, guys. I don't know about this one. Here's the thing, you can't even recall that back fast enough. Okay, I forgot he could blink out of there. I'm sorry, everybody.
I mean, if Classic is able to turn this game around, it would be the craziest thing ever. GG's
What about the DG tech? At least try that. Nope.
Wow.
Okay, that was that was one of the worst games I've ever seen from Classic. That is literally the worst game I've ever seen from Classic.
Yeah, that was just the perfect storm of everything going wrong. And I think the main thing it goes back to is Classic just parking the Stalkers and the Adepts in the middle of the map. He was so much expecting any move out from GuMiho to cross the dead center of the map. And the fact that GuMiho just jumped into the natural expansion from a different pathway basically sealed the victory. There's nothing Classic can do, especially because he was so proactive with a chrono boost on his side of the map. He couldn't even have the energy to recall the Stalkers and the Adept in the center. I mean, that was just the perfect game for GuMiho.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just crazy how bad that went for him. I don't think we're going to have another game that looks like that. I actually think it's almost impossible to mess that game up as bad as it was. Right? Like, that was the worst thing ever for Classic. But, man, who knows? Maybe GuMiho just wins. Maybe he just moves on.
Well, there can be no more mistakes here from Classic.
Maybe we're all going to be playing with towels on our mice. Maybe that's what's going to happen.
I forgot about the towel.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a towel. It seems like it's almost like a handkerchief he's got in there.
Yeah, a handkerchief would be good. I also sometimes get kind of sweaty palms when I'm playing. I'm one of these people that, like, if I'm spending a lot of time on my PC, I have to wash my hands so much just because I hate the feeling of any oil on my mouse or on my keyboard.
Oh yeah, you get the palms are sweaty.
I don't really.
Mom spaghetti.
But there's even just playing normally.
Arms
there's enough
steady.
oil on your skin that, like, I just hate it. So I
spaghetti.
I understand GuMiho.
I don't get sweaty. I get wiggly.
You get wiggly?
When I get nervous, I get wiggly. I remember the first tournament I ever went to, and I was like, where I was playing, right? And I was like 15, and like I was in one of these positions where like everybody could like sit behind me and see me play, because my PC was like in a spot everybody could like watch from. And I remember like trying to make boxes really fast over my workers, like to try to like look cool, and I ended up like stopping in my first match. I ended up accidentally stopping all my workers twice, trying to. And I remember being like, oh my God, I'm so nervous right now. I was playing Terran too. So, you know, it's like you make an SCV, but then you also S on the keyboard is stop the workers.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
And I remember being like, oh, this is terrible. Like I didn't know I could. Yeah.
Well, back in the days of MLG, like if you're playing in the open bracket, every single game was like that. Even if you were casted from the open bracket, they kind of put you on like this very small stage. It was like 12 feet by 12 feet that was slightly elevated off the ground. It would be parked where the middle of a crowd could be, so everyone can see you. And there's gigantic screens above where you're playing. And I remember back in that day, whenever I would be playing, I would make sure that I wore a hoodie, and I would be like a racehorse with like blinders. I would just pull the hoodie
actually
so far over my head that I can't see anybody.
Hoodie gamers are actually elite. I will say this.
We gotta hide, man.
I actually like, I like the, like, when I would go to arcades when I first came here and I would play fighting games, I'd have a hoodie on. And it was like my, you know, like a falcon has to have like a little thing covering its head or it'll just attack. That was, no, horse blinders might be a better.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely me not attacking the audience. It's me just trying to pretend that nothing else is existing and I'm like at home in my underwear playing on ladders.
Yeah.
Something, you know?
Yeah, totally. Was that a proxy starport? Yeah.
Proxy starport. And a Marauder early here for GuMiho too. Okay, this game is getting pretty interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a low ground expand here for GuMiho. Proxy starport on the north side of the map. And I imagine this is going to be for elevated Hellions, if I were to guess. But you know, that the Marauder getting started tastes like I'm wondering a little bit. We did have a 3 Marauder drop from GuMiho earlier on in the game. we might have something like that again here in this series.
So let's see how much damage this actually ends up getting done. Right now what Classic's doing is pretty standard. We are going to have that push come out. Not the same push as last time, but he is kind of putting some pressure. And this is all his setup so that he can get the Hellions into the medevac and then just drop him in the main. And like maybe Protoss is a little bit too traumatized from the last game and protecting the front a little bit too much. By the way, no third CC, so he's going to probably do a follow-up push. This is kind of, it's one of the more straightforward ways to play, especially as Terran, is the kind of 1-2 punch. Like the drop does damage into the push.
This is one of the weirdest drops I've ever seen. It's 2 Hellions, 1 Marauder, 1 Marine, and a Reaper.
This is a MacGyver push.
This is like the kind of units that you would get at the start of like a Legacy of the Void campaign mission.
This is a box art drop. This is...
What is this? All right, there's this shield battery here in the main base. That should mitigate a lot of the damage coming in here on the probes. And Classic's going to be scratching his head a little bit about the composition in this main. Now, the medevac is going to pivot down into the natural expansion. 2 more Stalkers get warped in.
He puts the 1 Marauder in there just so you think it's going to be the Marauder drop before he switches back into the Hellions. I think that GuMiho might be pressing his luck a little bit here.
He's buying a lot of time right now.
I guess he's not mining, which is pretty good, right?
Like a probe mines like 45 or 50 minerals a minute or so, and that's like a full mineral line that's not mining, so...
Yeah, actually...
It's quite a bit of income.
It is a good point. And here we got the setup push. Now, I don't believe he killed a single worker there, right?
I think he might have gotten 1.
Okay.
Maybe. I'm not even sure if he got 1. But at least GuMiho was able to, trade out 1 Hellion for a ton of idle times. I mean, in those terms, it's valuable. It's just not really the damage I think GuMiho is looking to get.
Okay, so the Robo's done. Charge is coming. Now, Charge generally is going to be very strong when it comes to fighting a push. I don't know how strong it is going to be versus this push, because GuMiho did slow Classic down a decent amount. Does this want to hit as +1 finishes?
I think it should.
Yeah,
because
that makes sense.
Combat shields will get started from the 2nd Tech Lab, and that should line up pretty well here with +1 infantry weapons, I believe.
Now, he's going to move out once that's done and basically try to hit. This is going to be, as the 3rd base is going to be done for Protoss. Now, there's going to be Charge. There's going to be Storm, too. And he's going to do a 4-stalker, or I guess a 3-stalker harass here. See what he can or can't kill. Terran's actually moving out. Now, there's nothing here in the main to protect this. And I don't know that GuMiho's going to go back. I think he wants to just go for this. He has 3 SCVs, so he has not pulled the boys, but he does have like enough for repair, maybe bunkers if he wants. GuMiho's just stopped in the middle of the map. Okay, he's moving again.
Units continuing to rally out of these barracks should be enough to deal with a 3-stalker drop in the natural expansion. And Classic knows that something is up. He knows that GuMiho is going for a big attack right now. And so he's hunkering down, throwing down shield batteries. Storm is nearly completed. Charge is just about to finish up. So some critical upgrades about to pop here. Or Classic. The Storms have to be really good. I think there might only be 1 or 2 Storms with this army right now.
Nice Storm there. Oh, the SCV almost gets killed off. He's going to lay the bunkers down.
And the Storm got 1 or 2 ticks of damage done.
This is such a spread out spot here.
Yeah, I think Classic's going to break through. Okay, there actually is a gap. He's able to break through the bunkers right now. Storm zoning away these Marines. A lot of them get isolated there on the left side, and now the Zealots can go to town on the bio and the siege tanks here on the front.
Is this enough, though? I mean, the Marines are still fighting the Immortal. There's 1 Archon out. By the way, the bunkers are going to... Oh, no, they are not going to finish. Excuse me.
CVs did get taken out. Immortal continuing to fight on. The 3 Stalkers in the Warp Prism. They come back. Classic's going to hold the push from GuMiho, and now GuMiho, I think, is going to be on the run. Now, does Classic wind up for a counterattack with this? He warps in 4 more Templar. You can either continue to probe up, take the 3rd base, potentially set up for a 4th expansion, or waiting until you have 4 more Storms. There is likely an angle for Classic to try and get damage done in GuMiho's natural expansion. For now, it seems like Classic is going to be going for the more safe option, playing defensive. Keep in mind, Classic has no lives left. He needs to win the next 2 games.
No, he's fighting for his tournament life. And this is a guy that had, maybe the best year of his career last year. Okay, he's going to pick up. Vision goes away real fast when you kill someone in StarCraft 2. So Protoss is not possibly going to be ready for this to hit in the main. Because you can see right now he's trying to basically meet this. When you have Charge against Terran, what you're trying to do is meet them in the middle of the map, so they have to siege up in the middle of the map. You don't want to meet them after they've sieged up. That's when Terran's the strongest. Scan here to confirm this is a safe move. And Classic's running home. He does not use the recall. Oh my god, there's a tank in this.
That's another funny looking drop right here. Okay, the Storms get some good damage on the bio. Medevac should be able to heal it up though. Do we have an energy recharge available for 1 more Storm? Seems like not.
Did he make a 3rd CC? I actually have not been watching the Terran this whole time.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So GuMiho is quite committed right now with no third orbital. It's looking like, you know, the main at 8:30 starts mining out in StarCraft 2. I'm imagining that GuMiho, if this continues on for another couple of minutes, will probably be lifting the main command center down to the third base. But the problem is Classic's already going for a fourth. So instead, GuMiho, he's pulling more SCVs from the natural expansion. He wants to try and end the game right now.
Okay, he's gonna send the SCVs back. This isn't gonna do that much. Classic not actually going for a warp in with that, by the way. I thought he was gonna like warp in 10 zealots, but this push is gonna hit. And there's a lot of SCVs here with this. Now this base is not, oh, he's gonna make turrets here. Why is he doing that? Okay, I thought he would make bunkers or something else. The turrets, I don't really understand why you would need turrets right now. The problem is that, yeah, the fourth base doesn't matter. It's the third base or the second base that are going to be important here. He is baiting out the storms. I do love that.
Classic is able to trade pretty effectively, though. Storms catch a lot of bio, and now GuMiho inching closer and closer. Templar in the Warp Prison, able to drop some storms on top of all of the Liberators right now. The Zealots are charging in. More storms land on the Liberators on top of the Siege tanks. But I don't think there's enough anti-air here for GuMiho, or for Classic, excuse me. Classic has to back off. GuMiho, a lot of these units, they're injured, but he is on the move right now. Classic just spent all of his storms. Now is the time for GuMiho to get damage done.
If he can get over here and unpower the Robo, that's going to be massive. The Immortals are kind of the strongest thing Terran has right now, especially against tanks and lots of Marauders. Okay, he's doing a great job of repairing. The tanks are going to inch it again. He's in range. He can shell the Robo here, which puts a clock on this.
There are so few medevacs, though, Tasteless. The bio, it's not going to be healing up. Oh, the Immortal spawns on the wrong side. Classic does not rally that back.
GuMiho looks like he's about to swallow his tongue right now on the camera. He's so focused. Stalker's going to come from behind, but the spread is pretty good. The Immortals are going to drop on the tanks, only he ends up killing off, I think, both Immortals, yeah.
Stalkers blink forward, though. The bio, it's been so injured. There wasn't any healing, and so the Zealots and Stalker is able to clean it up very quickly. And I think Classic might barely be holding.
Well, let's see. The push is going to continue on. Was the Robo killed? No. Okay, so he's still making Immortals. Yeah, I think you might be right, State. No more tanks being pushed. It's no longer going to be a push. It's going to be Terran having to stem and power through here. What?
Huh? It should be the main base that's...
What? Why?
I don't understand.
That's the worst thing I've ever seen in my whole life. That's literally, this is like...
There's more minerals in the natural than in the main. Why would we lift?
Why would he do that? This is almost like we tried to train an AI to play the game, but we're like, well, it's not working
I think this is not intentional. I bet you GuMiho manually hockeys all of his command centers.
My God,
I think because oh no, he's still harvesting from the natural. He thinks he lifted his main. He's focused on microing on the front. GuMiho doesn't realize. Oh no. Oh no. Not like this.
I've never quite seen a fail like
that was confound. I was like trying to think of like how could this possibly happen, because it's so obviously the wrong move.
Like doing play-by-play, where like suddenly GuMiho gets a tumor in his brain and makes a weird decision.
Oh man, oh that feels so bad. I don't even know if GuMi's realized this just yet. Nope. He's still distance mining from the natural expansion. I mean, he might just be tunnel visioned on the front lines right now.
Let's see how this final attack goes.
All right, another storm coming in. Oh, that would be a great angle for a storm, but Classic sleeping on it a little bit.
Well, he knows now.
That storm getting two big ticks of damage on all of the bio. I mean, this is crazy. GuMiho, it must have been that he thought he lifted the main, and he just has never looked back to his base. He still has no idea. I mean, the income is so disrupted right now for GuMiho because of this.
I mean, I think there's no way. I mean, he's basically economically hogtied himself. What a weird moment. Okay, so the drop's coming in here. It's actually doing a lot, by the way.
Yeah, Classic's army out of position. Was not expecting a big drop here in the main base. And again, I mean, the bio is so low on HP right now. There have been non-stop stims for GuMiho's army. All the medevacs are near depleted of energy. And this is still happening, by the way. GuMiho still thinks that he lifted the main. I guess, like, if you're rallying to the front, why would you look to the main or the natural expansion if you're not dropping mules there, right? But, oh, I mean, the game is still so close.
Well,
you have to wonder if GuMiho had actually lifted the main command center instead of the natural expansion, would he be in a better position? I mean, certainly. But would it be enough for him to be winning this? Possibly. Oh, that's so painful.
I think this game's done. You know, I think it was all hinged on getting the fourth base up.
I
can't believe this is still going on.
Oh, he just now realized. Oh, that's just terrible.
All right, he's going to try to push out. I think we're going to have to watch the next attack fail. And we're going to go on into game 3.
The bio is so low on HP right now.
I do think there's possible Classic would have held this had GuMiho not done the weirdest move with the command centers ever.
Yeah, man, GuMiho certainly would have had a much better chance. I mean, this has been such a significant disruption to his economy. And GuMiho just had no idea for several minutes.
Yeah, there's nothing he could do. He also might have seen this and been like, I can't actually relocate this again.
Yeah, I mean, now it's already been too expensive. Now the Storms are going to come in. GuMiho trying to charge and take down the Colossi, but the bio is already so injured.
GG.
We're going to a game number 3 between Classic and GuMiho.
That was... We had 2 games in a row with 2 of the biggest fails I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's been really a tumultuous day for the players so far.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
I mean, even game 1 between Classic and Solar was also... It also had one of these moments, right? With Classic going for the very early move out. The Templars, the Immortals getting isolated there by Solar. I know it was at the very start of the broadcast, but it feels like a lot of these games have been decided by players making mistakes, which mistakes are always going to happen, even at the top level of play. I mean, even players like Cero make mistakes, but it feels like it's been so amplified today, you know?
You know, it's funny. We usually have games defined by epic wins. There's been a couple of epic fails here. That is, I've never seen that. I've never seen, I understand it, like when you pointed out, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's what it is that he just has this, somehow the hotkeys got switched.
I mean, nothing else makes sense,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's not a choice.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, watching someone fall downstairs. You're like, why would he do that? It's like, no, he tripped. He twisted his ankle. You're not like, well, is that to get down the stairs faster? That must be why. And it's like, no, he fell. He fell.
It's a perfect analogy. I love that so much, Tasteless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that certainly was a fall down the stairs moment there for GuMiho. I mean, we'll never know if GuMiho was able to gather the extra resources, which probably was going to be close to like 1,000+ minerals if you just think of the amount of time where he was distance mining from the natural expansion, which, by the way, still had 8 mineral patches. You know, a lot of them were close to being depleted, but they weren't depleted just yet. I mean, that's just a terrible moment for GuMiho, who was so focused on the front that one bad keystroke, running afoul, really just upended that entire game.
All right, let's see what happens in this next game. We're going to have a Max Pax gateway here in the map. I like it. A little bit of aggro here for Classic. Again, you know, GuMiho could win. I mean, I've been casting GuMiho forever, and there's moments he just looks like, you know, top 2 Terrans in the world. But, you know, it's going to be crazy if GuMiho beats Classic here now. I think GuMiho's brought a pretty scrappy original Terran. And GuMiho, by the way, probably the most original Terran in the whole world. But, you know, it's all been hinged on winning in mid-game, which is fine. But, man, Terran have a hard time winning against Protoss in mid-game. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's going to hinge on exactly what's going to happen with this proxy gateway. Now, it is the least committed variant of this build. It's just one proxy gateway. Occasionally in the GSL and the RSL, we have seen 2 proxy gateways utilized to really try and get damage done in almost an all-in mode. That is not the case here for Classic. It's just the one proxy. So he's going to try and get some kind of economic damage done early here versus GuMiho. And I think this is a smart choice versus a player like GuMiho, because GuMiho often does cut corners, might be the wrong phrasing, but for just a lack of a better phrase, cut corners in the early game to try and get these very finesse-based army compositions, like we saw in game number 1 or game number 2, where he went for, what was it, like 2 Hellions and like a Marine, a Reaper, and a Marauder or something, and a drop. Like that is not an army that's very good at a head-on engagement. It's GuMiho just trying to finesse a little bit of economic damage. And if GuMiho tries to go for something like that again here, then suddenly Classic moving up the ramp of GuMiho with a Zealot and 1 or 2 Stalkers could get a lot of damage done.
Yeah, so this is going to be tech front-loaded with the expand right after. And, you know, this is where you can get punished pretty badly. You know, the command center starts a little bit later. You're going to basically have the Zealots and the Stalker hit pretty quickly. And, you know, this is a very strong build for Protoss versus what Terran's doing. Like, you know, sometimes you have builds and they create certain opportunities, but sometimes you do a build and then you get there and you go, oh, nice. And you really get an edge. So think about this. I mean, this SCV is going to be killed. And now what do? You cancel? Are you going to be able to reclaim this down here?
This Reaper's very low on HP. They need to heal. Oh, Classic could have gone up into the main base, but I think he wisely decides that the command center is more important. GuMiho is not committed to the cancel just yet. GuMiho is actually going to pull the SCVs to try and hold this.
Yeah, he's going to send the SCVs now. The Zealots are going to come out, and they're going to be clicked on to the Reapers, the Hellions. Dude, GuMiho's micro is nasty.
Did any SCVs even fall during this?
I think literally none. I thought he was going to actually have the Zealot hit the SCVs.
Yeah, I think that would have been the better move to guarantee a favorable trade out, because now GuMiho, because his control was so good, is going to lose very little. Okay, 1 Reaper and 1 Hellion will fall, but Classic is losing so much. He loses 3 Stalkers. Maybe this one will barely escape with orange HP, but 2 Stalkers, 2 Zealots, and now he's going to lose potentially the Proxy Gateway, although GuMiho, I think, still doesn't know where it is exactly.
Okay, so
you got to cancel the Stalker, right?
I guess he can just run away.
I suppose so.
Is he going to try to contest this? He's got to be careful, man. You know, I actually thought this Max Packs build was going to go a lot better, but
for some reason, I thought there were going to be more Reapers and Hellions rallying across the map to try and head towards a natural expansion and get some damage done on Classic, but no, instead GuMiho is pivoting. So Classic can defend the Proxy Gateway for now. And I think we're going to try and transition from here into a standard game.
And yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty action-packed start here. Not sure why he's sending this out. I mean, that's definitely going to get killed. This 3 Stalkers coming up here. Again, he's slowed GuMiho down now on mining. It's crazy how much this is done. I mean, remember, even though GuMiho recovers the command center, everything's coming out so much slower here. You know, it's basically a 1-base Terran with a placeholder for a command center. Now, is there any chance... Did he get blinked, by the way?
I think the Twilight Council just recently finished up.
Okay,
so it's likely started, but not done yet. It might not even be started.
Yeah, I guess he never started it, because I remember seeing it finish, but the whole tempo of this game kind of feels funny. Oh man, Classic going a little bit slowly here. He is going to dive on this. This is actually enough SCVs, he can repair this. So...
Blink isn't done, right? Because I think it still hasn't begun.
No, I was in the same spot where I was like, why? Oh, he's going to get charged. Okay.
Okay.
That does it. No Blink's a little bit rough, though. You know, it's kind of hard to imagine how Stalkers are going to fare in mid-game without Blink. I'm not saying he won't get it anytime soon, but, you know. Let's also see, I mean, does GuMiho want to attack out here again or not?
Yeah, I doubt that Classic will build many more Stalkers until Blink is actually getting researched here. I think if you're going for a charge like this, you want to be spending the gas mostly on units like Templar, like Archons. And the rest of your minerals are just going to be earmarked for Zealots, Probes, and Expansions, basically. And the setup that Classic is going for, leaning heavily into charge, even adding in all these additional gateways before taking the 3rd base, I think is him preempting what is likely going to be a push coming in from GuMiho. But honestly, the early game in map number 3 here has been so up and down that it's kind of tough to say exactly who is ahead. Like, GuMiho got some really good plays in, especially with the control in the SCV pool. Being able to save the command center, being able to defend without really losing anything. And taking out those Zealots, taking out the Stalkers. The Classic's also got a good number of jabs in. With Stalker drops like this, picking up a couple of SCVs. And also delaying the mining of the natural expansion for GuMiho for so long. So I think that GuMiho is still ahead. But it's tough to call. I think the supplies aren't exactly genuous right now because we do have a lot of things happening on Classic side of the map, such as Storm and Charge being researched and a 3rd base being taken and all these gateways powering up.
Yeah, there's no way for this War Prism to really get in here. We're kind of getting to the place where Terran's going to have a hard time. And it does appear that it's going to be one of these 2-base pushes. I actually think what you need to do is pull the boys here. I think you need to lean so hard into the timing attack that, you know... Oh, never mind. I was like, boys.
Only 5 boys this time, Tasteless.
Yep, not enough boys.
Oh, Classic might catch this. Psystorm just finished, and the Warp Prism here, 0 on the front line. The Storm's catching a ton of damage on all of the bio. GuMiho's going to pick up a lot of the units to try and get out of there. But what a fantastic catch by Classic the moment that Storm is done.
Yeah, I mean, this is bad. I love the Storm drop. The problem is that like Terran's not even getting to the point where they're starting to hit stuff, right? I mean, they're just getting chewed up as they move through the map. I guess he will get the Max Packs gate here. I don't know, man. This looks pretty rough. Here we go. Templar's going to come in again, storming right in the back, so you can't even kite away. He's going to warp in right over here. He's going to try to shoot down the Warp Prism, but it does manage to get enough Zealots out here. And I'm not so sure about this. I feel like GuMiho's in a really bad spot. I'm kind of surprised he did the warp in there with the Warp Prism, but you know, again, it doesn't really matter if the Warp Prism's gone. He can remake it, and the reality is this push is intended to hit. What? He's like, all right, leave the tank here.
Uh-oh. Classic might catch this. I don't think Blink is done just yet. Okay, there's still no Blink. It's only charge. Blink isn't even being researched right now for Classic, so he cannot pounce on top of those medevacs.
Good blocking. Terran's going to try to push up with the smaller army. I'm not sure what the plan is with this. This is like so minuscule. A Warpin's going to kill that. He's going to try to regroup again. He's scanning. He's basically trying to make... Okay, he's going to reorganize himself and try to hit again.
Yeah, GuMiho needs to find damage right now.
Yeah.
He's not building a third command center. He's not continuing SCV production. In fact, the natural expansion is missing 6 SCVs, and the main is oversaturated. GuMiho, kind of similar to game number 2, is so focused on just microing the army here on the front line, especially because Classic continues roaming with Warp Prisms and Storm. Okay, now finally all the SCVs getting full.
Boys.
That's a lot more boys this time, Tasteless. But again, 6 Templar full of Storms. I'm not sure how this is going to go for GuMiho.
Yeah. Well, the Storms are going to be the first sign. Like, how well did they hit? Okay, the first one does literally nothing. Second one scratches him. So he ends up, oh, that's funny. Okay, ends up losing the Warp Prism again.
Pretty good by GuMiho so far, honestly. These Storms have not done very much.
Yeah, GuMiho's doing a good job basically staying back and kind of milking these Storms before he decides to press in. I think there's like still 3 or 4 more Storms here.
There's a lot of energy on these Templar.
Another great Storm. Tanks are getting closer. He's going to start to shell these Stalkers, which are on hold position, by the way. Needs 2 shots from the tanks. Zealots are going to come in here. He's going to basically sandwich this right as they come in. There's a lot of Widow Mines.
The Storms are, even though they aren't hitting very well, there's just so much attrition right now in the Terran army. And finally, Classic coming from the south side with all these Zealots is going to collapse on this position. No more Storms left here for Classic. I think GuMiho has enough.
No, GuMiho's in trouble. The last tank goes down. The Marauders run through the Storm again. The Immortals still picking this apart. The Zealots, of course, can overrun the Marines as well.
I think GuMiho's on the run, and he's fully committed to this on just 2 bases. Classic continuing to power up. He's getting Blink. He's adding additional gateways. The 3rd base is fully saturated, adding even a 4th Nexus now.
Yeah. And, I mean, you know, he's going to pull the boys again, but each time it's becoming less and less likely. He's going to try to, like, out-position him, but I don't think this is going to work. You know, I think he can just literally do 1 warping round in the main, and he's like, all right, get out. He's going to scan over here. Are the gateways on cooldown or not? What is this? Oh, he's going to take out the robotics bay tech.
I mean, Classic can afford to lose that. Nothing critical is being sniped right now. Getting the Templar Archives would be huge, but GuMiho is going to have to get out of here because the Stalkers are arriving. I mean, GuMiho, it might not look like a very good drop in the main base, but he doesn't really have a lot of options. This is one of the few moves that he can actually do to try and get Classic to pull some of his forces away from the front line. I think the reality of the situation is that the game is just slowly getting out of GuMiho's grasp.
Yeah, no, Protoss is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and I think we're almost, if not already, past the point where Terran can really recover here. And now we can see Protoss is basically pushing out and trying to engage this. Again, SCV's out here. He's kind of weird. You see him pull the boys, and then he's like roaming the map with them. I'm like, I mean, I guess you can repair this stuff, but you know, Protoss is going to be on 4 mining bases. Against Terrans too. More boys are pulled. How many boys can actually be pulled in this game?
It's quite a few, Tasteless. Anyway, GuMiho's going to try and go for 1 more, but look at this spread right now by Classic. I mean, if he attacks from both angles, it's just a perfect concave. And the Storms! Oh, GuMiho runs through the Storms!
GG!
Wow.
Classic wins. Beautifully done. GuMiho making him work for it. after two epic fail games on either side, we close this out with Classic honestly playing pretty damn well. By the way, the Max Packs gate really didn't do that much at the start. It almost seemed like it backfired. It's weird because I think that build is good against what Terran's doing, but he wasn't able to make it work.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was just because the control of GuMiho was so perfect. Also the decision-making, pulling the SCVs. And then Classic, he boldly tried to just take down the Hellions and the Reapers. He's like, well, if I can get on top of those with my Zealots, then suddenly I can kill as many SCVs as I want. There won't be any army here for GuMiho. And so Classic tried to make it work, but good job by Classic, honestly, pulling the game back from that. It was not the early start that he was hoping for, but he was still able to pull through with a win.
Yeah, beautifully done by Classic. Again, Classic, a real threat in this GSL. He's played incredibly in 2025. We're going to see how well he does here in 2026. But he does escape the round of 12 and now moves on into the round of 8.
Yeah, it was very close. Anyway, let's go into an interview now with our second place finisher, Classic. All right, congratulations, Classic, on your second place finish here today in Group B. More than anything, I just want to ask you, how are you feeling? Because today it felt like you were really tested. There were a lot of ups and downs. Where do you feel about your position in the game right now? Do you feel confident? Do you think you'll be better in the round of 8?
일단 김도호 선수 진출 축하드리고요. 첫 번째 질문은 오늘 굉장히 좀 우여곡절이 많았는데 오늘 좀 경기에 대해서 좀 어떻게 평가하시고 그리고 8강에서는 좀 더 플레이에 대해서 좀 자신감이 있으실지 8강 올라가셔서 그게 좀 궁금하네요.
네, 일단 승자전에 끝부전에 약간 한 소리여서 좀 쉽게 올라가나 싶었는데 이렇게 힘들게 올라갈 줄 몰랐고요. 최종전에서도 고병재 선수가 올라왔길래 좀 수월하게 올라갈 수 있을 거라고 생각을 했는데 생각보다 너무 준비를 잘해와서 이렇게 힘들게 올라갈 줄 몰라서 지금 너무 힘드네요.
Yeah, I feel exhausted today because actually I was caught off guard by both Zoun and GuMiho because when I was gonna play with Zoun in a winners match, he's not good at PvP, so I would get an easy win. But actually, he made a brilliant plays that series, so that caught me off guard so much. And also, when the finals match is going to be against GuMiho, it's going to be an easy match also. But I think I underestimated him. He prepared a lot, so I think that was a really tough time for me.
Going into the round of 8, what are your goals for this season of GSL, and how far do you think you can go?
이제 8강 올라가시게 된 만큼 또 앞으로 이번 시즌에 대해서 또 목표가 있으실 텐데 좀 지난 시즌에 비해서 좀 이번 시즌에 좀 어떤 점을 더 좀 보완하거나 목표로 하실지 좀 궁금합니다.
일단 저번 시즌에 오프라인 무대를 못 간 게 너무 아쉬워서 목표는 4강 가서 오프라인 무대 가는 게 목표고요. 저번에 좀 상대가 준비해온 거에 제가 좀 대처를 못하면서 떨어지는 모습을 보여줬어가지고 이번에는 좀 저도 준비를 열심히 하고 상대 준비에 따라 좀 좋은 대처를 할 수 있도록 하는 게 제 목표입니다.
Yeah, last season it was a real bummer that I couldn't make to offline finals. So that being said, I'm pushing through I'm trying myself to push through the groups, and last time I didn't really counter the enemy builds and enemy preparations. So I'll be more trying myself to counter all those plays that the opponents might bring.
Thank you very much. Best of luck to you in the rest of the tournament.
네, 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for Group A, and that does it for the round of 12. But we will be back next week.
Round of 8 going to be happening next week as we build up to the Season 2 offline finals. And it's a Protoss day here in the GSL. Zoun and Classic emerging victorious, but it was a really close one, especially here for Classic. I feel like this might have been a little bit humbling for him. You know, he said that he came into this one perhaps underestimating some of his opponents in Zoun and GuMiho. But Zoun winning first place. GuMiho really testing Classic in the final match. I think Classic will come back stronger at the round of 8, and he better, because we have some groups of death. Hero Classic, Cure, and Clem on Wednesday next week. I mean, talk about a TVP group. And then Maru, Shin, Zoun, and Rogue in Group B. Both these groups are insane.
These groups are so sick. And Clem playing in a GSL?
Yeah, that's awesome.
What? I cannot wait to cast that. Super excited to see how Clem will perform. I mean, Clem, look, I mean, I think he could get to the round of 4. We might have to get Clem to Korea. Oh, look how beautiful Clem is right now with his long flowing hair. But all these pro gamers are just so beautiful.
Yeah. I actually didn't realize Clem's hair had gone this long. My goodness.
That's right. He's got Jesus hair. I dig it.
This is going to be an awesome group. It'll be a real big deep dive into TVP, excuse me, although we might get a little bit of TVT and PvP mixed in. And I really have no idea who to expect. Hero's been looking so good. Classic, he absolutely got tested today, but I'm sure he's going to be stronger next week. And then Clem, are we going to have a foreigner in the top 4 in GSL? Will he be at the offline finals? Will we potentially have a foreign champion in 2026?
I'm so excited. I cannot wait to bring these games to you guys. It's going to be an insane Group A. And don't forget, guys, the finals is offline. So, we just wrapped that up on Sunday. And we would love to have you guys join us again on the next finals. Here's what the schedule is looking like. Friday, no StarCraft 2. You can go ahead and ladder and use the builds you learned. But we're going to be back with the RSL Saturday, Sunday. Wardy on Mondays, Kung Fu Cup on Tuesdays, and then it's back to the old GSL.
Could be more GSL, and also those ASL finals going to be happening on Sunday on the 24th, 2 p.m. KSTs. That's pretty early for an esports show here in Korea.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a slide for that too. But yeah, ASL finals is this weekend. You do not want to miss it. One of the best finals we could ever have asked for. So I'm super excited for that. Just a lot of StarCraft going on right now. It's a great time to be a fan of StarCraft. If you got time to watch, we've got games to show you.
Yeah, it's been honestly an insane time after it felt like we had, what, a 3 or 4 month gap with not too much StarCraft 2 happening, to suddenly have the GSL, the RSL, and the ASL all happen in the span of a month is just wild. In fact, it's 2 GSL seasons.
All the souls are going on.
All the souls.
All the souls. Guys, consider supporting the GSL. We have Code A, Code S, which are on the SOOP website or app. There's also a Patreon available, so just see what makes sense for you, and if you kind of support, we would appreciate it.
Whichever way is better for you. There are a ton of perks available you can see right there on the screen. This is kind of the state where StarCraft 2 is at. And these are the crowdfunding goals that we have here for the GSL in 2026. Should we reach $10,000 a month, there will be a GSL Season 3 this year, which would be absolutely awesome. Tastes. I would love to be back here for another season of GSL.
Madness.
Oh, it wouldn't be mad. I have a lot of confidence in the GSL fans. I think we'll be here. I think we'll be here.
Yes, guys, consider supporting. Yeah, I mean, it's been an amazing season so far, so we got a little bit of time off here. I guess we got 1 day off, and then we're going to be back on with RSL. So any closing thoughts, State?
It's a lot of StarCraft, man. I'm so happy about it. And yeah, check this out, guys. ASL Finals, Soma in Flash this Sunday, 2 p.m. KST. Be there if you're in Korea. If you can't, make sure you tune in online. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and Artosis and I are going to be casting that night. So it'll be up very fast. You can watch that on our SOOP channels, by the way. That debuts on my SOOP channel and Artosis' SOOP channel. And then it's uploaded on YouTube later. So, yeah, be sure to check that out. Thank you for joining us, guys. We love you. Bye-bye.
Incoming transmission.